Peace to the family. What's good? What's good? What's good? Let me. I First of all, I want to thank everybody who came, who hung out with me last time. When I had KT here, we had a. It was a good day. It was a good day, and I want to shout out my little niece, not my niece, my goddaughter. Thank you for the T-shirt, sweetheart. Once Once you guys get the website together, I'm gonna definitely let you guys know when you could go get one of these T-shirts. And I love the way it smells. I don't know what y'all put on it, but I appreciate it. Today we got my man Dr. EnQi in the building. Um, I'm excited. I hope y'all ready. I hope y'all got your pens, y'all pads, y'all questions. Well, you know how I do. I got a couple of questions that that was sent to me, and I'm also provide you guys with a phone number that you can text your questions in, because a lot of people, I'm thinking everybody has Instagram or everybody follows me on Instagram. So I'm gonna figure out how to put my number up here where you guys can text me the questions, because I don't want to just keep it to the same. I just don't want just people on IG to do this. Shout out to my family and Ink, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. Because this brother's not brother you could just walk up on anytime or find anytime. So the simple fact that he was gracious enough to accept my invitation, that just made me feel real good. What's poppin', Nene? I already told you to stay off from my comments. Nah, I'm just playing. I appreciate the love. And Mommy Warba. Hello, Uncle. Hello, Sobrina. Sobrina Linda. I love when I see my family in here. It just makes me feel real good. Make me feel like I got some security. Damon Woods, OTSS in the building. Only the strong survive. What's up, my brother? I can't wait for everybody to see your book. I was reading the rough draft, brother. Amazing, man. You about to That's a movie in itself. That's a movie in itself. Damon Woods, Only the Strong Survive, Geronimo. Stay tuned for that book, y'all. Stay tuned for that book. All right. Excuse me. Let me see if my brother Inky. Inky's in the building already. That's what I'm talking about. Let me get him in here real quick. Hold on. Peace to the family. Yo, Ink, before you even say one word, I'm gonna say publicly that I stole that line from you, bro. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I know you think it all the time. I'm gonna keep it a buck. From
Nice.
the first time I heard you say that, I say, you know what? That's my line from now on. So I hope you don't mind sharing it with me.
Plus Sensei, you got it.
How you doing, brother?
I'm alive, man. It's that's hey. In the world that we live in now, where you could wake up a billionaire, go to sleep broke, or wake up broke and go to sleep a billionaire. The best thing you could just do is be in the game, be alive. You know what I
That's a
mean?
fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Damn, the Jews are starting early. Damn. I just said hello. How's the family, first and foremost, man?
Good, good, good. Chase ready to get you back out
Now
there.
I ain't want to say nothing. I ain't want to blow him up on the live, but tell him I know he want that rematch. I know
Yeah,
he want that rematch.
yeah. He definitely want to get some work in. So wait a minute though, before we even get started, let me ask you about this thing because you a lot of people don't know, but Mr. G is a super hooper. Like Mr. G is a decorated basketball guy. So I gotta ask you this because I feel like LeBron is being violated.
Somebody finally talking about it.
Yeah, I
Le-
feel like it's crazy. He passed like maybe 4 weeks ago. He passed Kareem and Carl and them as the overall all time scorer. Now they trying to act like they didn't notice when it happened. They keep referring to the regular season, and I don't even understand that. Like, they referring to the regular season, and they keep like gauging it, like, oh, he got 2 more games to pass Karl Malone. He'll pass Kareem next season. I'm saying to myself, why is regular season points more important than overall career points? Because
According to them, the regular season points is what status in the regular season what gets you in the playoffs. And if you don't make it to the playoff, you ain't nobody.
right, but I'm saying, like, I feel like that should be more special then, because it's not like you get a free trip to the playoffs. You got
Fact.
you got to earn your way up there. So,
Facts.
and then any round is a limo. So it's like,
Yeah.
but so he passed everybody. He got all, and then now he just created I'm calling it the GOAT record, Mr. G. I feel like this is the GOAT record that establishes you as the GOAT, meaning Michael Jordan got 6 rings. It's other people with 6 rings. It's people with 7 rings. It's people with 11.
11 rings.
Right,
Okay.
right, right. So I'm like, that's not a thing right there. That's not a GOAT status. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, that's not a GOAT statistic. I feel like this new thing though, where he's the only player to ever have a career triple double. Like, he's the only player that's gonna retire with 10,000 points, 10,000
10,000 assists.
assists. And right now he actually has 35,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10,000 assists. And nobody's discussing it. It's disrespect.
Well, I know you and your boy Chris is cool, so put a bug in his ear. Put a bug in his ear.
It's funny. I spoke to him and he said, the league, he said, they fixed on the regular season thing. That's where they mind is.
All
So,
right, well, Chase gonna come in and break all those records, and then we could talk about this 30
woo,
from now. You
man,
feel me?
speak speak power, speak it into existence.
I will speak that into existence because that young man is very agile. And one thing I like about him, like when I had the opportunity to work out with him, he was actually listening. Usually, kids at his age they want to show off what they can do, but he wanted to show off how much he can learn, and that's a rare talent when it comes to kids. So I hope he keep that up, bro.
Appreciate it. Definitely, I'm gonna tell it to him. He's gonna get gassed up off that.
All right, that's what's up. Well, I got some questions for you, man. I just want to get right into it because I know these people want this knowledge, man.
Hey, I'm with it.
All right, so you don't mind that we can start off with question number one? Oh no, you know what? Before we even get into question number one, man, let me tell you, let me
Wait,
qualify
wait, wait, wait,
Inky.
wait. Before you do that, don't you got a clip that you wanted to play?
Oh no, we gonna get that clip in,
Okay, okay.
but let me qualify my brother Inky. Um, my queen, um, she was going through some situation where I didn't know it wasn't normal. I thought it was actually normal that a person who don't do number two, boo boo, defecate, whatever you want to call it. I thought that was normal for the for the first couple of months of our relationship. I was like, damn, do she even use the bathroom? I thought but then I found out later she was waiting till I left the crib to get loose. So um but then I asked the babe, how often do you go to the bathroom? I really and she was like, well, probably about once or twice a week. So I thought that all right, I guess this people's system was different. I actually thought something was wrong with me because every time I eat 20 minutes later, I gotta use the bathroom. So I said, damn, do I got a weak ass system or what? So I found out that that's not a good thing. That if you eat 3 times, you should be going to the bathroom 3 times. So I spoke to you about it, and I want to thank you for the package that you sent to us. That was about a year ago. That about a year ago, a little more.
Yep, yep. A little bit
Yo,
more, maybe. Yep,
a
something like
little your ink. Ever since she took your herbs,
that. Yep.
bro.
The detox kit.
Yeah, everything she took your detox kid, she's been regular, bro. She's been regular. So you owe me some toilet tissue money. Um,
Yo, that's a real thing now.
I'm telling you,
With inflation, it's getting
yo,
crazy.
I'm like, yo, why does the toilet tissue? We reading up on the toilet tissue already? But thank you for that. I really appreciate that, bro. Like that's something that a lot of, and this another thing, a lot of herbalists they ask me, yo, Mr. G, can you put my package? Can you put your on my package on your website, on your platform? Anybody that I have on my platform talking about their herbs or their packages is because I already experienced it. I could co-sign for it. Nobody got to tell me. I could tell. It's sort of like Dr. Sebi, how he never told nobody you got HIV, you got this. They came with their paperwork and then they came back with their doctor's paperwork and said that they was negative. So you, the proof is in the pudding. I didn't, and no one told me. I lived it. So once again, I want to thank you for that, bro.
I want to thank you even more though for the trust. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't realize that's a two-way street, especially when somebody's like, yo, I got a family member with an issue. Inc. What can we do? I always appreciate people confiding in me and coming to me in that way. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a delicate situation, especially with the way you got healers jumping off the top rope every 5 minutes now. It's crazy out
and
there.
and one of the reasons why I'm gonna tell you I deal with people like you, like KT, because Dr. Sebi used to always tell me just as many good herbs as they have dangerous herbs. So a lot of people and these herbs look a lot alike. You feel me?
Facts.
Look a lot of, I know you know what I'm talking about. These
Facts.
herbs look a lot alike. One of them can help you, one of them can kill you.
Yep.
And if you're dealing with somebody who don't know what they're doing, they could have good intentions, but they could mess around and take you out.
Certified fact.
All right. My man Damian Woods want to know where can he order the package. Can you tell him where he could order that detox package?
Yep. DrEnqi.com. So just go to DRENQI.com.
And what's the name of the package that you sent my wife? Because
The
I just opened up the box and said it's from Dr. EnQi, and we just started reading the labels and started consuming.
detox kit.
All right, the detox kit. That's what's up. Keeping it simple. The
Yeah,
detox
yeah,
kit.
yeah. That's like my oldest two compounds is in the detox kit. When my daughter had a lot of people know my story. Like my daughter got hit by a car when she was real young, and they said she would never walk again. And that was like how I came up with the Mom Atomics, because that was like my come to God moment. I went in the kitchen. I'm like, God, because up to that point, my struggle with healing and my consciousness and my study, it had brought me nothing but problems. You know what
All
I'm saying?
right.
People in the neighborhood don't get it. At the time, my children's mom, she definitely didn't get it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
spending days and days and days in bookstores and Strands and Barnes and Nobles, and you know, I'm spending more money on books than I am on the light bill, and just it was a real conflict, for years like that. And in that situation happened, I'm like, okay, God, all this shit got to work right now. Like if this really means something, it has to happen now.
Right
You know what I'm
now.
saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
guide my hands, and I'm going to do and I went in my kitchen and I put together what later on became known as the liquid part, the Mom Atomics.
Mm-hmm.
um, that's what I gave my daughter, and it was crazy. She got hit by the car August 28th. The doctor said she would never walk again. Her neck was broken, her spine was broken in 3 places.
Did I meet this daughter?
Nope. She in Georgia now, but now she's getting ready to have a baby. She's in college. She's pregnant. She getting ready to have a baby. Like, it's crazy. Like I went to her. Wait. So anyway, like 5 months later, I had her back walking again. But she was on a baseball team, And I went to one of her baseball games and shit, and I embarrassed her and all that because she got a hit and she ran. She was out. I started crying and acting a fool and shit. You know what I'm saying? And people couldn't understand what that was, and they just don't understand the hell that I went through, because even the whole time that she was in the hospital and I was trying to heal her, like her mom's was actively fighting against me to stop me from doing what I was doing because she never believed in it. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving her these, she in ICU, and I'm like dripping shit in her mouth, because that's the reason why it's a liquid, because she was in ICU. So I knew I couldn't give her like no herbs or nothing to eat. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing was, okay, liquid. I got to have something that could drop right under her tongue and get right to the bloodstream. And so it was crazy, you know what I'm saying, against all odds. But, she got up out of the ICU quick. 3 days, they got her in the room. Then when she got in the room, I started raising hell. After a while, I just told them, look, don't bring no more food back to this room, because I don't, y'all, we just not on the same page, and we not eating none of this. So just keep all of this, the orange juice, the milk, the chicken salad, the chicken sandwiches, the pastas. Like, keep all this food. Like, give this to somebody else that need it. Don't waste your budget. We're just gonna trash it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I had her, back together again, and fast forward when she played her first baseball game. It was just a thing for me to see her, like, because nobody would notice at that point. This is years later.
She wasn't supposed to even be running or
It wasn't,
walking. Yeah.
man. She
Yeah.
out there, she on dance teams, baseball team, that, like, so yeah. But
Yo,
that's part of the kit, the liquid part.
I'm glad that you even mentioned that liquid part, because a lot of people don't understand. Even when you take the herbs, like the regular herbs in capsules, explain to them how important that water is, because these people think they just take. I've seen people literally just take the herbs and take a little bit of water. I'm like, yo, that's all the water you're gonna take with all that herbs?
See, hey, Mr. G, listen, that's one of my secret things. That's why my name is EnQi. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I honestly, for a long time, I just used to use that as like a barometer to laugh at other people that call themselves healers.
Okay, okay.
Because I be listening to them break down their whole program of how they're gonna heal this and heal that and antivirus this and blah 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 blah. And never once do they ever mention lymphatic system. And I'm like, okay, see, y'all don't know the difference between bacteria and viruses. Bacteria could be killed. Viruses are not killed. They're denatured and dumped into the lymphatic system. So if you're not flushing your lymphatic system on a regular basis, it's no possible way for you to detox, because that's how your cells work. Anything that get the cells get rid of, they dump it into the interstitial fluid, and your lymphatic system has to drain and clean all the cells, glands, tissue. So it just, anyway. But yeah, that's the thing, man. They gotta get their water up. You know what I'm saying? But by the end of the night, they're gonna know really, like, water is more than just a arbitrary thing. Encyclopedia Britannica very disrespectfully has water listed as a waste product along with carbon dioxide from metabolism. So we're gonna hopefully shed some light on, pun intended, shed some light on some of these these things that
Oh
people
no,
accept.
nah. I intend to let you do what you do, bro. All right, so I'm gonna start with these questions real quick.
Okay.
All right, question number one. Young lady said, I have 4 kids and it seems like they always sick. What advice can you give me to keep my house sniffle free?
I would say, the first thing is, with your children, you gotta make sure you gotta cut the sugar. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess, I'm a diabetes specialist, so I guess cut the sugar is gonna probably be a recurrent theme all night tonight. But you really got to cut the sugar. Sugar destroys, every facet of the body. It just sugar's a monster. Sugar. Check this out. Sugar is like 5 times. No, sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine, and it's 5 times more likely to be the cause of death than cocaine.
Damn.
Isn't that a hell of a statistic?
That I didn't know.
It's not only 8 times more addictive than cocaine, but it is 5 times more likely to wind up as your cause of death than cocaine. That is insane. So I would say that
And it's in all the supermarkets.
in all the supermarkets, and the amount that people are supposed to have for the whole day, we blast right past that at breakfast.
Okay.
And to take it a step further, right? Sugar releases opioids in your body. You know, we make opioids, and sugar releases them so much so to the point, you know, like when babies get circumcised, baby boys,
Yeah.
what they give them is a sugar syrup called sweeties to numb, you know, as a pain, as a pain management. But it's nothing but sugar that's in it. But it's so sweet that it makes the brain release enough opioids to numb the whole body, like they had a hit of heroin or a sip of lean. You know what I'm saying? It's like baby lean, basically. And right there, that tells you the relationship between sugar and opioid release in the brain. You know, so yeah, I'll just leave it there. We'll touch back. You got to
So,
get rid of the sugar and the artificial colors. A lot of these artificial colors are banned in other countries, but they still legal here, like your yellows and reds, and red number 40, yellow number 5, yellow number 6,
mhm.
like all of that stuff you got to get rid of. And then one of the craziest things that is a cheat code, and most parents may not really notice, but you got to make sure, and this may sound like this is nothing, but this is something. You got to make sure that you brush your kids' teeth, right? And you got to brush their teeth, like make a little formula. You know what I'm saying? Mine is a little bit more complicated that I put on them, but you can use a little bit of iodine mixed with some peppermint oil and maybe a little dash of clove oil. You know what I'm saying? You could put oregano oil, but that might be too much for the babies. You know what I'm saying? And you could just water it down with some coconut oil. So like coconut oil, peppermint oil with a splash of iodine up in there, maybe a little clove if you want to add some clove to it. But brush their teeth with that. And anybody, matter of fact, if you at home, right, and your nose is stopped up, I know this sound crazy. If you wake up in the morning and your nose is stopped up, do what I'm saying with that. Brush your teeth with that and watch how your nose and your sinuses and all that shit drain and clear up like that. You know what I'm
Where would
saying?
they get iodine from?
Shit, you can get iodine from the supermarket, the vitamin shop. I have, you can get it from your Bladerax, your kelps, your
Hmm.
gels, and you
You
know,
have anything on your site where they can? You have a toothpaste that they can get out on your site?
I'll have a
Yo,
toothpaste.
you need to put that together, bro.
I got
That
the
shit.
oils though.
Mhm.
I got the oils. I got the antiviral oils on my website that they could just take a couple of drops of the antiviral oils and drop it onto the toothbrush and hit it that way with a little splash of coconut oil. Like that's what I do. I use the
Okay.
antiviral oils and you know,
Because the average person who don't know that, man, iodine, anything with iodine, anything, it sounds like you making a suicide kit and shit.
nah, iodine is like the best kept secret, man. Like iodine is like I put iodine everywhere. Iodine is in the food. Iodine go on our skin. Iodine is everywhere in my house. Like that is the ultimate cheat code for single parents. Like if you got little kids, you should have iodine at the crib, like just in a variety of ways. You know what I'm saying? You need to have your povidone, your drops, your blue magic, your ocean steak, like all you have it capsule, dry, like every kind of way you can have iodine. You should have that as a black person, especially as a black person. The darker you are, the more iodine you need.
Damn. Okay, so I need to go get me a gallon of that shit. All right. All right, let me go to question number 2. All right. Hold on. Oh, Nota class. Oh, that's my brother right there. What's up, Nota? All right. I follow you on social media and I'm so impressed with your intellect. I was wondering if you can give me any advice on how can uh, I was wondering if you could give me any advice on helping my memory.
Okay, so a couple of things, right? The first thing, we're gonna probably say this shit all night.
Iodine.
Cut the
Okay.
sugar. Cut the sugar. I did a 11-hour lecture on Savior's Day on my revolutionary approach to diabetes. And one of the things I showed was how sugar not only shrinks your brain, literally shrinks your brain, every part of your brain, sugar makes it shrink. And it does that by destroying the brain cells, obviously, right? So sugar shrinks it and then it puts holes in your brain, like literally sugar. Matter of fact, I can pull that up actually and show the people because I know some people, people don't believe you until you show them. You know what I'm saying? You got to let people see stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I can probably, yeah, here we go. Um, that's a good enough picture. Yeah, there we go. Where are you? Bang! You got. I think you got to hit the button for me, Mr. G.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you could see right here they got both of these are half healthy and half sugary brains. So you see the difference between what your brain looks like when it's a healthy brain versus on the right side with advanced Alzheimer's. You see the holes that are eaten all the way through the brain. And it's not just the substantia nigra either. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people repeat that like it's a mantra, like the substantia nigra is when the melanin disappears, but they forget that your brain is nothing but your brain is nothing but melanated cells. That's what your brain is. You know what I'm saying? Like your brain is nothing but melanated cells. Like a lot of times we have a disconnect in our mind where and it's like a taboo subject because a lot of times, we don't want to offend white folks and we don't want to mess up any future opportunities we might have and shit. So we don't really discuss blackness that much. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
unless we alone with just each other and shit. So we forget a lot of times that neuromelanin is located inside neurons and nerves. So anything that affects your nerves and your neurons affects your melanin because that's what is the main functioning element of those cells. So your sugar attacks all of the pigment centers in the brain. It attacks all of the pigment centers in the body. That's why diabetes is the number one cause of Alzheimer's and dementia. Type 2 diabetes, the number one cause of Alzheimer's and dementia. So the crazy thing about that too is Alzheimer's has like a 40-year, sometimes 50-year incubation period. So what people don't know, and this shit was kind of scary for me. I'm not gonna lie. We started like a 24-month challenge right now. I got the Big Mouth Boot Camp that's on my YouTube page where we wake up in the morning and we do some exercises in different languages. You know what I'm saying? Every couple of months we switch in the language. So right now we're doing French. To the end of the month, actually, then we're going to start doing Italian. We'll do Italian for 3 months, maybe 2 months. And then we're going to switch to Spanish. Then we're going to switch to German. Like we got to, every 3 months, every 2 months, something like that. We're going to switch the language to it. But
Let
the
me know
reason,
when you do Garifuna.
yeah, we probably won't be doing that. We might have to bring you in later on after we finish the challenge.
I can head the class. I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
that.
yeah. But we doing that because the way you lift weights for your brain, your heart, and your nerves and neurons is with abstract study. And the most potent abstract study is to learn a new language. You don't have to learn it till you fluent and all kinds of other stuff. We're not trying to be polyglots. We have the polyibic movement. Matter of fact, I'm wearing. Oh, I can't even show y'all the tag. I'm most proud about the tag in my hoodie. It says Dr. EnQi. But this is one of the sweaters. You know what I'm saying? You see the sleeve. Wait, you can see the sleeve. But this is one of the sweaters from polyibic.com, the clothing line. We got a whole movement, duffel bags, book bags. We're going crazy with it. But
Oh, I got to put that in the description.
definitely,
All
definitely, I
right.
appreciate it. But that's one of the things that we really doing to restore melanogenesis and neurogenesis. Melanogenesis is how you kickstart melanin to regrow in the body in different places, and neurogenesis is how you kickstart new neurons. Because on average, you can repopulate, up to 700 brain cells a day. That's a healthy body, and a healthy body and a healthy brain grows new neurons every day. But our lifestyle is not conducive to neurogenesis, so that's why people aren't really regrowing brain cells like they should. And if you're not regrowing brain cells, that's how your memory slips over time. And like I was saying, the craziest part of it is the incubation period is so long that most people don't know. You don't get Alzheimer's and dementia when you're in your 50s and 60s and 70s. You get Alzheimer's when you're in your 20s.
Damn.
You get Alzheimer's when you're in your 20s. But what's happening is, so your brain is slowly but surely, you're getting you losing neural networks, you're losing brain cells. The pigment centers in the brain are slowly depleting from melanin, and it takes 30, 40, 50 years until your brain is down to a level where now you start forgetting where you put your keys, and you forgot, who you was you done picked up your cell phone to call somebody and forgot who you was going to call. Like, that's, you start to have them types of things happening. And before long, it progresses until you go get some help, and they tell you, oh yeah, you in this place, your brain done lost 60% of function, et cetera, et cetera. You got 4 years until you up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, put him in a hospital, he's a danger to himself. You know what I'm saying? People get lost at the grocery store, they don't know how to get back home, and all of that stuff starts 40 to 50 years earlier than the onset of the symptoms. That's what makes it such a crazy thing. And
Wow. So people be joking about I forgot what I was thinking, and that's early signs of the. Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah,
I thought it happens back, the 60s. That's when it shows up, I guess.
when it shows up, that's what's so dangerous. We think that diseases happens overnight. Like, we think we're gonna eat a candy bar and then have diabetes the next day, and
Hmm.
if we don't, then that means whatever we're doing is good. You know what I'm saying? We don't get cancer after the first cigarette. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
it doesn't happen that way. And the incubation period of these diseases, the longer it takes, the more deadly it is, because it's harder to find out what the cause is. When you get Alzheimer's at 60 and you don't realize that it started when you was 25. And
Hmm.
the recreational drugs now is speeding it up. It's speeding it up. You know what I'm saying? So people are having, Alzheimer's and dementia 40 years old, 50 years old. It's crazy, you know?
Well, that's I didn't know that. I thought that 50, 60, that's when it started, but I see that is a progression.
Yeah.
Let me ask.
Wait, so let me say this. So, abstract study, you know what I'm saying? Feel free to join us in the morning. Big Mouth Boot Camp. Just type that in. You could mess with us in the morning, or get it in by yourself. It's better to do it with a group. And then also, we're gonna go into some of the nutrients that's important for the brain as well. I'm sure omega 3s and that kind of thing. But having a pigment based diet, and we probably talk about that more also, but a pigment based diet, a lot of people, a lot of what I like to do is to uncover some of the institutionalized racism in places that we don't necessarily see it. And when you go on a real plant-based diet, which I have to start separating from being vegan, because it's now so many different vegan products that people been vegan for 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, and never ate any plants. Yeah, Mr. G, Mr. G, they vegan, and all they do is eat, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, pasta, lasagna, veggie burgers. Like,
Clogging their system up.
man, they never had any plants. So, when you go on a plant-based diet, it's a high fiber diet. That's number one. But number two, it's a high pigment diet because every plant that you consume is going to be yellow, orange, purple, green, etc., etc. So a lot of times we forget that. And when they process food, they process out the pigment, they process out the fiber. In between the pigment and the fiber of a plant is where all the nutrients are. So when they process out the pigment and process out the fiber, they also process out the vitamins and minerals. And we don't went from a stage of having processed food to the new thing, which is called ultra processed food. It's crazy. So there's literally, they make sure that there's no life at all in the food, and all of it, it turns right to sugar as soon as it hits the bloodstream. So it gets crazy.
There go that word again, sugar. All right. I want to before we go to the next question, I just want to touch a topic real quick. When I met Dr. Sebi, I'm gonna mention him a lot because this whole journey is because my journey continuing from him.
Yes.
I I caught myself reading a whole bunch of books, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try to impress this man because I was already in. So I'm reading up all these books, and the word melanin came up. So when you mention it right now, I just remember to when I spoke to him. So I say, Dr. Sebi talked to me about melanin, and he was like, "That's just a word. What's
Yeah.
that?"
Yeah.
So I wanted you to explain. Well, I know you can't speak for him, but that was a word that he didn't even like to hear. Whenever you asked him about melanin, he looked at you like you was crazy.
I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of words like melanin, and I specialize and focus in on pigment as a part
Mhm.
of what I'm doing. But I don't. There's a lot of words that's like pet peeves for me when I hear other people say them, like melanin, frequency, alkaline. Like you got people running around saying, I'm a raw alkaline vegan. I'm like, ugh, I hate when people talk that way because I know that they don't really understand what they're saying. They're just saying the things that they heard other people saying. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, for
I
me,
like that you said that. That's one of the main reasons why I never claimed to be publicly any kind of healer, herbalist, because everything that I heard, that's just it. I heard. You feel me? And
yeah,
Dr. Sebi himself used to always say that he was still learning. So for the people who go strictly by Dr. Sebi, he was somebody who I traveled the world with, and everywhere we went, he was learning from brothers like you, brothers like sisters, like any Mexican who was willing to talk to him, they had all his attention because the healer that healed him was a Mexican. So for the people out there who just want to go strictly by Dr. Sebi's list and Dr. Sebi's diet, Dr. Sebi changed his diet every couple of months because every couple of months he was learning.
Mr. G, I appreciate you so much for saying that because people don't understand that if Dr. Sebi was still here, the food list that they got, what I'm saying? Like some
Thank,
people still running around with the food list from the 80s.
thank you.
If Dr. Sebi
Thank you.
was still here,
It'll be
half
different.
that food list would have been replaced with new, like, they don't get it.
Okay. I traveled we went to 8 states. 8 states. Everywhere we went, I would let a certain amount of people come see Dr. Sebi. and he wouldn't want to see anybody he couldn't learn from. Dr. Sebi used to always say, if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong damn room.
Woo.
So all the people who live just by what Dr. Sebi, you got to think, who was his healer and who was his healer's healer? You get it? So he used to always tell you himself, healer didn't start with me and it's not going to end with me. So all you guys out there who's learning and into herbs, don't stop at Dr. Sebi. That was my brother. I love him to death. But if he was alive today, he would tell you himself, healing didn't start with me and it didn't end with me. We learn something every day. He said, "Is millions of herbs in the world. I only know 600 of them." He would tell you that in a heartbeat. Our next trip we was planning on going to was to Tanzania. He want the president, Kikwete, I believe his name was, invited us to go to Africa. So we was about to go to Africa and find out about a whole bunch of other different herbs. So
Yeah.
so I bought that up. So I want you to understand, when you talk about melanin, when you talk about what you're talking about, I'm not coming at you by saying Dr. Sebi said that word was
No.
just a
Let me
word.
tell you.
Okay.
I had to have plenty of conversations with people to let them understand.
Okay.
Like Sebi's thing was minerals, elements, and breaking things down to as basic component as you can. So for him, the active component in terms of melanin was the binding mineral, the magic mineral carbon. That's what I call carbon, the magic mineral, because it
Yes.
makes things that's unseen seen. It makes the unseen seen. It makes things you can't see or touch available. That it makes them physical, right? Because if you look at our food, whether it's a fat, whether it's a carbohydrate, whether it's a protein, vegan protein or meat, doesn't matter. It's basically invisible gases. The only thing that's tangible in the makeup is carbon, right? When you look at carbohydrates, it's carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. When you look at fats, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. You can't see hydrogen and oxygen. You can't grab a whole of. So what makes that fruit, what makes it an apple, is the carbon that's there. That's what makes it into something that's tangible. That's what's amazing about carbon, its ability to do that. And so, he always just brung things back to carbon. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
a fact. That's a fact. All
Yeah.
right. I'm glad you understand that, because
Yeah.
I
People ask me
I
that. Well, I get
okay.
all kinds of,
Okay.
like anti. It's so many people, and I've learned the hard way from sitting on top the throne now. Like, it's so many people. When you at the top, the only thing that can happen next is to come down. So
Mhm.
everybody just tries to find ways to come at you. Even people that like try to come at you in a friendly way, oh, well, I was just asking this question. No, you wasn't. You thought you had something you could.
Exactly.
So people have come at me with a whole
Mhm.
bunch of Sebi stuff over the years. Melanin is one.
Mhm.
The mucus thing is another one. They always try to twist up the mucus thing. And, I just tell them all the time, they don't stay in the studio long enough. You know what I'm saying? The things that Sebi was saying was so far advanced that as I study every day, there's still new things that I find out and go, oh shit. He was here, or he was already,
Ogun.
yeah, the God Ogun. That's right. He was already just so advanced that, so people just don't like. One of the things I'll say, when he talked about mucus, and he was like, in regard to diabetes, right? Because that's my thing. But one of the things is, and this is like, I hear little goofballs online trying to throw shots at the throne. They say, oh yeah, well, Sebi said that it was mucus that was inside your cells blocking the insulin. That was wrong. And Sebi didn't know what he was talking about when he said that it was mucus blocking the insulin and blah, 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 blah. So first I got to take them to school, teach them what mucus is, blah, 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 and then give them the understanding. Because if you go back to Sebi's older lectures, he used to say that the number one cause of disease was, oxygen not getting to the tissues in regard to, being able to electrify the body, because that's what your body, that's why we breathe oxygen for electricity production. But you can't really, that's not a tangible thing. You can't really do anything with that. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, a person can't say, well, I don't think oxygen is getting to my kidney, or I don't think like you can't see or feel where oxygen is going.
Mm-hmm.
But by giving you something tangible like mucus, you can understand at home when you need to make some changes in your life. And usually, the first external sign of internal inflammation is going to be some type of mucus. So, so that was something that just simplifies stuff. Like that's one of the things about being a master teacher. When you early on and you're learning and studying, you trying to accumulate as much information as possible. You get to a space where you may start speaking over people's heads. So at that point, you have to start bringing it down and start speaking to the point where everybody can understand what you're saying.
Know
And
your crowd.
yeah, and he was a master at simplifying and storytelling. And so people don't really understand that art.
He
That's a
called
skill by
he
itself,
called he called the kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
man. And so when you look at the cells in type 2 diabetes, there's one side of it where people talk about all the time, people eating a lot of sugar, but there's a whole nother side that confuses people because you got a lot of people with type 2 diabetes that don't eat a lot of sugar. They eat a lot of meats, right? And this is even for people that think they eating clean meat, chicken breast and turkey, they eating clean. They don't eat fried dish, they don't eat oils, and they just eat. But saturated fat creates a gunk, right? A mucus, like substance that sits inside the cells. It's called intramyocellular lipids, right? And it sits inside the cell, comes from saturated fat, and it blocks the insulin from being able to be utilized by the cell. So now I can say to people, mucus is blocking insulin, or I could say intramyocellular lipid and have people look at me like,
I'll take
what,
some duck
what?
sauce with that.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it was about, mastering your information to the point where you could communicate it upwards or downward to any audience. So, a lot of people that just, they don't, some of them don't understand, and then some of them know better. They just trying to throw shots. You know what I'm saying? So
That's okay. I'm glad you brought that up, and not that Sebi couldn't explain it. He just chose not to. And I'm gonna do a shameless plug to the documentary we did with Nick Cannon. First
yeah.
of all, I want to thank you for accepting the invitation to be in the documentary because I'm just saying, I it was so funny when you walked inside the studio.
Hold on, Mr. G. Do y'all see that? Listen, it's very few, right? It's very few men, and I have to give props when I see it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy Dell from Philly, and Diallo Morgan up in Ohio, and you. You know what I'm saying? There's certain guys, right, where they teach you how to be like a classy man. You know what I'm saying? And not by telling you anything, but just by how they carry themselves. You see that? He's gonna thank me for being in the Nick Cannon documentary, right? He's gonna thank me. No way, no way. I listen. Thank you. Thank KT. Um, Thank Mama Pill. Thank Nick Cannon for doing it. Thank Dr. Sebi for being alive. Thank the white folks that was in the room. Thank everybody. Thank my mama for having me.
I hear that. No, no. What I'm saying, thank you, because brother, I don't ever take anybody time for granted. You feel me? Because you could have did anything with your time that day, and you chose to let me. Because being that I produced you, I was shining that day. So I thank you for that. Because when you walked in, KT walked in with this big ass afro, you walked in with gold in your mouth, looking like a pimp. Everybody looking at me like, yo, G, you sure this brother know what? I say, yo, trust me, this brother know what he's talking about. So you didn't even talk for a minute before everybody looked at me and was like, all right, we got it. Let him do what he do. So when the people do see the documentary, you're gonna see, well, with the court case, how Dr. Sebi, You know what? I ain't even gonna bring that up when the documentary come out, which is soon. Thank God, it's soon.
Woo.
You guys are gonna be able to see how brilliant Dr. Sebi was, and to your point where he can just dumb himself down so that everybody can understand him. Y'all gonna be able to see how brilliant this man was. All
Genius
right,
matter, man. I tell people all the time, I'm starting me a clubhouse group. Genius lives matter, man.
okay.
Man, people gotta
Well,
respect it.
all right. Well, damn, we only on care question 3. All right, before we question 3, I want to shout out my son, Sisu. Um, I appreciate the mic that he got for me. I feel like a real disc jockey right now.
Now
So
this thing, the audio is crispy and
you
perfect.
feel me? Salute the Yeti mic. Salute to my son for bringing it. I appreciate you. All right, so we're gonna go to question number 3.
Okay.
All right, please ask Dr. EnQi about type 2 HSV, black toenails, and chronic inflammation.
Okay. Okay. Chronic inflammation, we'll take care of. Chronic inflammation, we're gonna table to the end, and when we get to the information on type 2 diabetes and all of that kind of stuff, it's gonna kind of be wrapped up in there because
Okay.
once you get your oxygen back flowing down to the feet properly, you're gonna be Gucci. Usually it's sugar though clogging it up. It's some type of sugars or fats clogging up the circulation. So like those are the first things that have problems. You know what I'm saying? Like sugar attacks your pigment. And that's why the men get impotence because your capillaries all have melanopsin in there. And so sugar crystallizes with the pigment that's inside your blood vessels and, it shuts off the circulation. But it's pigment in there that the sugar's attacking, melanopsin. And so it stops the blood flow from getting to your clitoris, your penis. It stops the blood flow from getting to your feet, your toes. That's why they're the first things to get chopped off. Um, Stops the blood flow from getting into your eyes properly. So, people get, a bunch of weird blood vessels and it gets a little crazy with the eyes. Um, People going deaf from diabetes. But yeah, the sugar kind of clogs it up. It kind of, the sugar and the saturated fats kind of do the same thing. And it's really, the saturated fat though is not as bad as sugar. Honestly, people would think it's
They
different
they
because of
asking, can you specify what kind of sugar?
every type of sugar that's sugar. Every type
Damn.
of sugar. All them sugars is trash. It's just a different way to trick you into buying like turbinado and pure cane and all this foolishness. All them sugars gotta go. Period. All of the simple carbs, like the pastas, the rices, all that stuff is nothing but sugar. All of that sugar. The only difference between fruit sugars and the food you get in a can or a box or the actual sugar you add to your food, and I'm including, don't think that like, because some people when I say get rid of the sugar, they like, oh nah, but this is coconut sugar. Like, bruh, I said get rid of all of the sugar. One, starting off with coconut just means that they didn't start off with the sugar cane, but at the end of the day, when you got a handful of powdery crystals, it's still sugar, right? And the difference between sugar um, in a fruit or in a coconut is that in the fruit, the sugar is attached and built into the fiber and the pigments. And in between the fiber and the pigments, you have all of the minerals. So those things are able to keep a limited amount of sugar in check. I want to say that again. The fiber and the pigments that you get from your fruits and vegetables are able to keep a limited amount of sugar in check. But when you have sugar that comes without any fiber, without any pigment, without any minerals, it can only damage and destroy the pigment in the body.
What about agave?
Ooh, no. Agave is the worst one.
In a blood clot.
Yeah,
I put that in everything.
agave is 90% fructose. And fructose um inhibits your body from processing tryptophan. And tryptophan, you
Agave, blue agave.
agave, yep, all agaves. It's it's yeah,
Hold
yeah.
up, I can't hear you right now. We might have to cut this stream short now. What?
Yeah. See, the trick is this. Here's the thing with agave, and for a while, diabetes, they jumped on agave because agave is fructose, and because your body hates fructose, like that's the most deadly sugar to have. It doesn't show up in the blood because your body doesn't process it. It goes straight to your liver. So in black people, it turns into type 2 diabetes. In Spanish people, it turns into fatty liver disease. But fructose is dangerous. You know what
Damn,
I'm
you
saying?
just described both of me. I'm both of them, black and Spanish.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, you gotta watch that fructose. Yeah. But here's the thing: you're very active. So a lot of times, if you're very active and you coupling that with a lot of greens and this, that, and the other, it's not gonna hit like somebody else who has a highly processed diet, and
You
they
see, this one it goes back to Dr. Sebi because a lot of people ask me what was Dr. Sebi's favorite meal, and I tell them the only thing I ever seen Dr. Sebi eat was spelt bread with agave, avocado, and cayenne pepper. That was his go-to meal. So now you're telling me that agave is not good. You feel
but,
me?
but here's the thing: he's coupling it again,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the fibers, the proper fats to help metabolize it.
So it's not gonna hit him like somebody eating cheeseburgers and all that other stuff.
Correct. And then he will follow that up with maybe a day of no food or two. 3
A
days.
week, a
Right,
week or
a
two
week.
of no food. Yeah.
So so like this, and this is why, like, one of the things people ask me all the time, like, what am I eating? I don't even tell people because I know that people are going to hear what they want to hear, and they're not going to take the whole package. So, like, if Sebi eats an avocado on spelt bread with some agave, people would take that and run with it, and before you know it, they drenching pancakes in half a bottle of,
Yeah.
they'd go crazy. Like, no, they said this is healthy, so I can go bananas with it, and
Yeah.
you're not gonna spend 3, 4, 5 days, 7 days without eating food. You're not gonna do all the other things that provides the balance to that. So I just tell people to just cut it because I already know where their mind is at. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't even make sense to gamble with it, roll the dice, remove it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So continue. My bad. I did.
Oh,
You said agave. Whoa.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So no sugar, but because that's what really usually black toes is. Like, a lot of times people have trouble with their toenails, and they always look for something topical to put on the toes, like for fungus. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Them things is cool too, but it's really a circulation issue. You need to get oxygen down. You really need to open up the blood vessels and get your arteries pumping and just get that circulation going. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times people got to get up, stop sitting down for 10 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? People is glued to their computers, sitting down for 10 hours. They got to stop that. They got to exercise. You got to work that lower back. You got to work the glutes. You got to work the quads. If you don't do nothing else, you got to work that core, because otherwise you're not getting any circulation to the lower half of your body. People don't know that if you sit down for 45 minutes straight, you cut almost 70% of the circulation to your lower extremities. So if you add that with a little bit of sugar, your feet don't get no love. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, that's that. Then HSV. Okay, let me open up my computer because I'm getting ready to say some stuff that's probably crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the
It's
things,
HS. They said type 2 HSV.
right? So
Okay.
one of the things people need to know about HSV, we're talking about herpes for people that don't know what the hell we're talking about. One of the things, and this is going to sound crazy, but one of the main things that destroys herpes is ATP. That's your cells make ATP for energy. They're now using that as a clinical treatment for herpes.
Damn.
But the reason is because it is light electricity. Like, this is literally what it's about. That's why they say if you get oxygen in, oxygen destroys most bacteria and viruses. They can't really survive in an oxygenated environment. Well, that's because of the electricity, the magnetism, the light, those things. You know what I'm saying? And so, matter of fact, let me just share real quick so people can see. I like to show these things because sometimes when you say something that they're not used to, they're like, "Nah, he making that up right there. That's not a real thing. He just made that up." Hit the share button, Mr. G.
Yes, sir.
All right. So if you look right here, all I did was type in, and you guys could follow up with more research. All right. So here's adenosine monophosphate. Right. When you make energy in your body recycles the adenosine monophosphate and the adenosine diphosphate back to adenosine triphosphate or ATP, right? But this here adenosine monophosphate is usually one of the things that makes you sleepy, and it helps your body go into the healing phase at night. But because our circadian rhythm's a little bit off, we don't have enough pigment in our diet, and just a couple other reasons, um, we're not producing ATP the right way. So one of the things that we're going to get into with the EnQi cycle and some of the other things is how we fix that problem. And that immediately starts to turn around your immune system. You know what I'm saying? So feel free to look up adenosine monophosphate and herpes. Just type them three words in your Google, and you will get a plethora of research on not just herpes or SV1 and 2, but the whole entire family, right? From chicken pox, because most people don't realize that herpes is a touching disease. So you can get herpes just by you touching hands with somebody, kiss them on the cheek, sharing cigarettes, blunts, all that kind of stuff. Um,
Damn.
yeah, it's because
Hmm.
it's not like what people think. Like, you got to have sexual intercourse. It's not. It's not that. It's a skin thing. You know what I'm
So you being able to get herpes sitting down on the public toilet, that's a real thing?
That's a myth that was debunked and then undebunked. It was debunked and then undebunked, and it
Hmm.
is kind of in purgatory, because it's not necessarily good for the pharmaceutical companies. They make a lot of money every year off herpes. There's a lot of people quietly taking herpes medication. You know what I'm saying? And so they get the good bag off of herpes. There's a lot of people that quiet, like, medicine is a quiet thing. Nobody wants you to know that they take a bunch of medication. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of young folks is running around on 5 and 6 different medications for a lot of different things, and it's making money. Like, all of the guys out there running around with fake penises right now. That's a big thing.
I didn't even know that existed.
Oh yeah, fake penises is popping. I'm trying to spread awareness, because what's getting ready to happen is that a lot of guys are gonna have their penises amputated from type 2 diabetes. Just like they get their feet amputated, they're gonna have their penis amputated. So, that's something that we gotta deal with, you know what I'm saying, before we have a whole generation of brothers out here with no, eunuchs looking like eunuchs. But
Wow.
but that's what's happening right now. They're treating. So what happens is this. Like I was saying, the circulation gets cut off to the extremities, right? And so what people are doing, instead of changing their lifestyle and adopting some of these things we're talking about, they go to the gas station, the grocery store, they get different herbs, to open up circulation. They get Viagra and all those different things. And whether it's a herb or whether it's Viagra, like we have on my website, we have something called anabolic hormone help. And this is not something that you take and then you got a hard on like that. It's something that rebuilds, helps your body to rebuild all the systems responsible for your penile health and your vaginal health. You know what I'm saying? But most of the herbs and stuff out there for impotence is just circulation stuff. It opens up circulation and forces blood into the penis. Well, the problem with that is it's sugary, dirty blood. That's the reason why the capillaries are very small when you get to certain areas of the body. It's an extra filtration and protection to those vital areas so that none of the stuff that's that's not supposed to be in there gets in there. So when you do the Viagras and the circulation stuff and you open up and force blood into the penis, you also force in the fats and the sugars. So over time, those fats and sugars that's not supposed to be in the first place, they start to destroy the tissues and the nerves all around the inner workings of the penis.
So you're saying Viagra's like a Trojan horse then?
It's definitely like a Trojan horse. It's only going to make your penis problems worse over time. And so it gets to the point where they don't even work anymore. And so what the doctors do now is just treat them with the penis implant. You know what I'm saying? And hold on, man. Let me just.
No, I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna keep it a buck. You know me, I live in my truth. I tried that shit a while ago, and I was probably about 30. I woke up in the morning. I thought I was in Smurfland. Everything was blue. I said, you know what? This ain't good for me. I ain't fucking with it. So that I was one and done, like Zion Williams.
Hey, listen, if it's one thing I know, I got 10 babies. If it's one thing I know for sure.
Oh man, you the first brother that I spoke to that got 10 babies like me.
Man, see?
Eight
So
boys
look,
and eight
so
boys
look,
and two girls.
listen, we don't never have to have a degree. We know exactly. Hit the share. Oh, wait a minute. That's a live. Let me hold on before you hit the share button.
All right.
Okay, hold on. I just want to
I
make sure
woke up
the
right.
actual types on the screen. Okay, so here we go. We'll show. I just show one of these.
All right, hold on to me.
Yep, hit the share.
I thought somebody painted all my shit blue that day. But go ahead.
Yeah. So here's what one of the examples of. Now they got different varieties of these joints and all that, but um, people don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, people are like, oh, if I see anything, or if I see wires, or if I see something like that, I'm gonna know and I'm gonna get up out of there. But sister, you're never gonna know this because the pump is, you see right here, is inside the testicles. So it's not something that shows. All this is inside his body. So he just squeezes on, and this is one of the less expensive ones. They got more expensive ones that works. It got multiple moving parts and all that. But you squeeze on the pump, which is in the testes, and from there, bang. You know what I'm saying? He's ready to go. And yeah. And this is, diabetes is putting us in a wild situation. So, one of the things that we can no longer do as brothers, we can't really go in on the sisters with the fake booties and all that because brothers running around with fake programs, all the way fake. You know what I'm saying? But hold on, we got more in terms of the HSV. Let me go into my book here. Eat Right for Your Haplotype. Now,
Yo, thanks for that book. You gave me that book on the set of Nick Cannon's documentary. I was like, yo, so thanks for that book. I appreciate it.
Definitely. I'm gonna read a couple of things off of page 265. The first thing is avoiding arginine, right? So just get arginine out of your food because it's like cholesterol. Arginine and cholesterol are problematic for Black people, right? And the reason why they're problematic for Black people is because we build them. Our body naturally builds them up. more than any other race. Our body builds them up. And the reason being is because we're supposed to be in the sun all day. And if we was out in the sun all day, all of the cholesterol that builds up in our body would be converted into vitamin D. All of the arginine in our body would be converted into nitric oxide, right? So nitric oxide is one of the things that we need for healthy circulation. That's one of the synthetic ingredients in Viagra. Viagra is basically nothing but fake lemon, like it's fake citrus, with some synthetic nitric oxide. That's it. That's basically the two components of Viagra. So, it's just, you can go back to natural and, but yeah, so you avoid the arginine. And this is kind of for any type of infections, especially when we're dealing with an infection, infection central right now all around the world. But arginine is something that once it builds up, it pollutes the lymphatic system, and it'll cause reoccurring infections of any kind. You know what I'm saying? So people that had corona 17 times and got 28 shots and took 39 herbs. Yo, because I know folks that went and got the Johnson and Johnson. They got like two shots from each company that had shots, and like it got crazy. So you
And they
know,
were still done.
yeah. So arginine is something that if you black, brown, light skin, you live in America, you live in Europe, if you don't live at the equator, you want to limit all of your arginine, your high arginine foods. You know what I'm saying? You want to limit
Can you
uh,
give us some samples?
chocolate. Chocolate is super high in arginine. Um, Certain nuts are really high in arginine, like cashews. Avoid cashews. Um,
Don't say almond, please.
no, 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 no.
Damn. Okay, good.
Almond is cool.
Whew.
But yeah, avoid those things. Make sure you get a high amount of lysine in. You know what I'm saying? And a good thing to couple with lysine is monolaurin. Monolaurin is a coconut extract. Actually, you might want to stay away from coconuts too. Coconuts are also high in arginine, as I think of it, but monolaurin is an extract from coconuts, and it's really good. Monolaurin and lysine works together. Um, Monolaurin, what it does is it destroys the envelope around the virus, because you have non-enveloped and enveloped viruses. Envelope virus, the envelope just gives it like a coating, a protection, a suit. So it helps to fight off anything you putting in there to kill it. So monolaurin basically strips the armor, and then lysine is able to denature the actual virus and flush it out. Um, and then we hear a lot about it being in the nerves, right? So that's
So,
another thing to point out. This is another thing that's attacking your melanin, because remember, nerve cells are neurons. The only difference between the neurons in your brain and the nerves in your body is that the nerves in your body are usually larger than the neurons in your brain. That's it. But they're really, that's all they are. It's like really big neurons. That's it. They're the same cells. So, and they all loaded with neuromelanin. That's how they function. You know what I'm saying? So this is another thing that targets those melanated cells and those pigment centers in the body. You know what I'm saying? So,
all right. Well, you damn sure, I'm sure, cleared that up.
yeah, and then also NAD and glutathione. So NAD, again, that's what your body produces when you take B3 or when you take tryptophan, which is an amino acid. Your body converts them into NAD. And NAD and glutathione are like the background uh, anti everything inside your body in terms of keeping your immune system up and running. And yeah, so and then of course avoid sugar. Did we say avoid sugar yet this show?
Hell yeah.
No, no, no. Let me say this, because sugar, there's another thing that people don't know about sugar. Sugar disables for about 4 to 5 hours about 50% of your white blood cells.
Mm.
So anything that you need your white blood cells to fight off, sugar is going to disable them. Like sugar is the guy that comes in. Like when you see the old knights and they got the armor and the swords and shit, and they be trying to invade the castle. Like sugar is the guy that sneaks in and opens up the drawbridge so the army could come in and then take over and shit. Sugar's that guy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we'll keep revisiting that. That's a theme. But get the book, Eat Right for Your Haplotype. It's got some more goodies in there for
Is
you.
that on your website?
Definitely on the website. And then also externally, anybody dealing with any cold sores around the mouth or the genitals or your ears or your back, wherever you have them, whether it's chicken pox, cold sores, genitals, whatever, you can put a little bit of DMSO. It's a sulfur-based liquid. Um, or you can put you some iodine. Either one will close them up and make sure they stay closed. Like, so you can add a little bit to your bathtub or whatever, however you want to do it. It's a good, yeah, it's a good thing.
Damn, tell them to soak in it. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
It's good for the skin wrap. You know what I'm saying? You just got to knock that out. Yeah,
All right. I appreciate that. And
yeah,
whoever asked that question, now, I hope you helped.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Let's get to
All of
the.
those things they can research, like each one of those things from glutathione. Just type in glutathione herpes, NAD herpes. What else did I say? Monolaurin herpes, lysine herpes, DMSO. I don't know if you can look up DMSO. You might have to look. That might take a little bit more research on your behalf. But you can look up iodine herpes, like all these things you can look up, and you'll see just a wealth of information. You'll be able to. Because that's what people need. They need the information. Who's this nigga with gold teeth anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like they need to be able to. They need to be able to see it from official sources.
All right. All right. I'm gonna move on to. Thanks for answering that question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on to question 4. We still on question. We just on question 4. All
Hey, we going in.
right. That's what's up. Um. Okay. Got it. Number 4 is. I know that EnQi is a real doctor, but my question is, where does he get all that swag from?
Oh, hell no.
That's question number 4. No filter. No
Look,
filter.
look, go to polyibic.com. You know what I'm saying? Get the hoodie, get the now. I would have to say like my big brother Book. He's still in Harlem tearing it up. My older cousin Cavario, he's in Cavario right now. He's online experiencing some online trolls right now. Him and Benzino was working on the book, and I don't know, it got a little crazy. But from guys like that, my dad, you know what I'm saying? Like, my family was like big in the streets, from like, so when you hear like guys like Dame Dash and Jim Jones, and they talk about Hum 40th Street in Harlem, like my dad used to run that block. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, my dad is, Nicky Bonds, PB Kirk, like all them guys know who my dad is. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, that's
Yo,
not,
it's so funny you mentioned Pee Wee Kirkland, right?
yeah.
I used to in Starlight City. I used to work. He has a son. Well, his at the time his son was about Chase age, and I used to work him out in the park.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to work him out in the park. Pee Wee saw me playing, and by the way I was moving, he said, "I know you did this professionally. I could tell." He told me he played against Dr. J, and I'm looking at him like this motherfucker lying. In my mind, I'm thinking he was just saying that to impress his little son. We
Yeah.
in Starlight City, 1420 Freeport Loop. I don't know if they still over there, but I used to work out Little Man in the back. So Pee Wee's back there. He got like an afro, Jerry curl. I don't know what it was. It was shiny. It wasn't curly. Like, Cedric said, it didn't quite. But
Nah, that's how it was, man.
yo,
I got family members that I got style and drip from that I can't even, like, to this day I can't, acknowledge them publicly.
okay.
They
I
hide
know. I know.
hide.
You one of them.
But yeah, but you know, and that's kind of where I got the name, like Blue Magic, with my sea moss gel and everything that I was doing, because I
Yo,
wanted
you not
to
to
put,
cut you. I'm sorry, keep
but,
cutting you off. You keep saying stuff that's relevant in my life. You know that my batana, I call it blue magic batana. And the reason I call it blue magic, because I went to the jungle to get it. You
mm,
feel me?
wait, me, that's part of my shit too.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna let
And
you go.
yeah, no, hold on, let me show, hold on.
Me and my son Cecil, we went to the jungle. No Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi, no anything. We was just out there.
Let me tell you, when I say my Chondrous crispus is official, I go get it on the boat with the babies. Like, it's nobody hands touched it. I got it out of the ocean and sent it to you before you got put it in your blender. It's just me right there.
Can you say the other name for it so they can know what you're talking about?
Oh,
The
the
sea moss.
sea moss. Hit the share so I can show this
Yes,
little clip of us
yes, sir.
right here
Hold
on the
on. I
boat.
gotta see this. Hold on.
It's just a little clip.
All right.
Wait,
Appreciate your patience. You know, I'm learning all this.
I know, all good. I appreciate the spot.
That niggas ain't getting no sea moss. That niggas ordering sea moss from Amazon.
Go ahead, Inky.
But no, I got mad footage from out there, but I just ain't want to show, too much. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna let y'all see me out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Now the boat says it all. I know where you going.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Ah, you gonna cut it off like that? All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. Just a
Niggas
little.
acting light skin right now. All
Yeah.
right.
But like, that's how it got to be. You know what I'm saying? You got to really get your hands into it, and it's so much foolishness surrounding sea moss, the different strains and qualities and all that kind of stuff. It was just like, nah, we got to go get this. But like I said, with my family background, I
No, no,
wanted
no.
good energy on.
No, before you go on your family background, because I don't know when people talk, I like to listen and elaborate, especially since we're talking about sea moss, because I know somebody like you would be able to explain it better than I would.
Okay.
Please explain to me, because a lot of people tell me it's 92 minerals in sea moss. Please explain to the people that when you eat a sea moss shake or drink a sea moss shake, you're not getting 92 minerals in that particular shake, or am I wrong?
No, you're not getting 92 minerals in that particular shake. There's 92 minerals in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? And so there's actually more than that, but that's the basics of where, the basic foundation of minerals. You got 92 minerals in the ocean, and sea mosses are able to accumulate everything that's around them. But you don't really have, like, the amount has to be effective in order for you to count it in the sea moss as something deliverable to the people. So just because it's there in minute, micro, super trace micro, like, you can't count that and tell people that you're giving them this and it's going to have an abundance of all it. That's not how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Sea mosses, in terms of what's bioavailable, that's going to transfer to the people that's drinking it. Depending on which sea moss you have, you're going to probably have 20, 30, 40 different minerals in there. And each different strain is going to have a different amount of minerals. So the one thing that I like about Chondrous crispus is that it is the highest algae. And that's the other thing. Sea moss is only called sea moss because the rosters and the dreads and all that, they just nicknamed it moss because of, that's what they thought it was. But sea moss is not really moss. It's actually algae. So people that's trying to look these things up, if you're looking for mosses, you're not going to find none of the sea mosses. You got to look up algae, then you'll find your grossularias and gusos and chondruses and bladderwracks and all those kind of things.
Yeah, because in Spanish they call it algas marinas. So yeah.
Go, yeah.
Mhm.
So these are all algae, and chondrus crispus just happens to be the one which is highest in phosphorus. And phosphorus is important for your bones, but it's also important for your pigment, for your melanin. Melanin, the process of converting tyrosine, whether it's with melanosomes or in the brain, it's a process of phosphorylation and dephosphorylation that catalyzes the transformation from tyrosine into, melanin or neuromelanin. So phosphorus plays a crucial role in a variety of different functions in the body. And the more we get in there, it just makes things swaggy. You know what I'm saying? So,
There goes that word again. All right. All
but
right.
yeah,
So
like it's Harlem mixed with the Bronx. I was around in a lot of different places. I know y'all be watching like Drink Champs with Nori and all that. They be talking about the legendary tunnel nights. I was up in there in them legendary nights. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was outside. Yeah.
all right. Let's get to question number 5 now. Okay. Is there anyone out there that you've seen in the healing world that has inspired you?
You mean like right now, or ever, anytime, forever?
Period.
Oh,
I'm just reading the question.
all of the OGs. I mean, obviously, I've deified Dr. Sebi as the God Ogun. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I say Dr. Sebi, I always say the God Ogun that came to us in the personage.
Can you break down Ogun real quick and then break down the Barclays Center?
Well, Ogun was the god of iron. So a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, I had beef with people that, they're like, hold on, but Ogun wasn't the god of herbs. Why are you going to mix up Sebi with, he ain't the god of herbs and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bruh, Sebi used the word iron more than he used any other word in his lectures. He was focused on you getting iron into your body.
He said, if you have the iron, you're batting 1,000. He used to always say that.
That really, 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 really was very advanced, because we're not going to really fully understand the impact of iron in our body for another 50 years. Like iron has so many jobs, and it facilitates so many of our higher functions in terms of consciousness and your spirit and your soul and other things. Like, it's a lot of other things going on that we don't realize still have to be facilitated by your biochemistry and neurochemistry. People don't realize if you're alive, if you can think and you can speak, if you have a soul, a consciousness, and awareness, that's facilitated by chemistry, right? And so even though that chemistry may not be in your textbook yet, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna put it in your textbook, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, if it's not in your textbook yet, it just hasn't been in your textbook yet. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that won't get there. It's a lot of things you got to understand. Like, we take what's in science textbooks for like the law, and like, this is it. This is the end all be all. And it's not. New things go into science textbooks every 10, 20 years, and old things come out
Facts
of science textbooks every 10, 20 years. So but yeah, that's where that came from. And then obviously also for people that know the history, like the first entity that they got popping was the Ogun Research Institute. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm just throwing that on him out of nowhere. Like, he came and bring that awareness too. Like, when you name your business, your brand, when you're branding, it's because you're trying to incarnate, you're trying to bring something into existence to make people's awareness. So it was Ogun Research Institute. You know what I'm saying? And,
bang.
the court papers and all that, with his codes. You know what I'm saying?
Name his 2 codes.
Mama Pill and, your peeps from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, Mama Pill was like my OG. She taught me a lot of stuff. I had already had a lot of products and a lot of science in my brain. But when I met her, and it was like happenstance. I ain't gonna, it's a long story, but I ain't gonna get into it. Shout out to Red Pill for the intro. He didn't even make the intro, but Red Pill just a nigga that take a long time to get dressed. I know we all know niggas. It
Yo,
takes
yo, you
45
can't.
minutes to one pants leg. Like,
Yo, I know what you about to say. Don't kill our documentary, please.
right. So, right. So, yeah, there we go. So,
You feel me? I know what you about.
yeah. So I learned a lot from Mama Girl. But really all of the OGs, like when I was growing up, my thing always was I wanted to learn research to like prove the things that my elders were saying was a fact scientifically. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the young guys now, they got this debate mentality in their mind. So they want to study and research to debunk the elders. Like they think that's how they get a name for themselves, by debunking the elders. You know what I'm saying? They don't know there's another path. You know what I'm saying? You can stay in the studio a little bit longer, do a little bit more study, spend a little bit more time and money on books, and you can reinforce what your elders created and stand on their shoulders. And that's kind of how we keep this thing going.
All right, bro. All right, so let me get to question number 7. No, question number 6. Who are 5 people that have been most influential to you?
Ooh,
5.
I can't even say 5, bro. Like I got people that's influential to me in a variety of ways. You know what I'm saying? Like I got my man Fit for Life, uh Knowledge Born, you
Damn.
know, yeah, it's just a different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like you inspirational to me. But I guess for the answer, I would say my children as one person. Like I just group all my babies in one. I'm inspired by them like daily. You know what I'm saying? Like they be putting their genius game down. Um, I would have to say my older cousin Cavario, you know, he's that nigga like 1,000 years old, and he looked like 30 still. Like he seriously, he's pushing 60, bro. And he looked like, but he was the first template that I saw where it will be possible to make a like plant-based lifestyle like something that could pop. You
What
know?
is push-up game looking like?
Oh yeah,
I
he
could imagine.
yeah,
I could imagine.
dreads all the way touching the floor. Like he's sick with it. You know what I'm saying? But he was always like that, always vegan since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? So this is a wild street maniac. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about the worst of the monsters. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it was you
That's
know what I'm
dope.
saying? So the furs, the drip, you know, he at rooftop taking the pictures, you know, the Alpos and AZs and all of them. They know who, you know, they know, like people know who he is, you know what I'm saying, when I say his name. So
But he was a vegan.
all that time through the get money phases and all that, this nigga wasn't eating no meat. You know what I'm saying? So it just, you know, and now his friends, like it's crazy, but them niggas look old as shit. And he still looked like he did then. You know what I'm saying? So I learned just from his example, like, you know, this plant-based thing could, you know, but Kanye West right now. Kanye West right now is like Kanye West makes being a genius and being focused in on what it is that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like he makes that cool. You know what I'm saying? So
Yo,
Kanye
and
is,
salute to Kanye West real quick.
yeah.
He's actually he met up with Victor, with Dr. Sebi's younger son. He met up with Victor a couple of weeks ago. He's about to do something huge in the conscious community and the herb community. He's about to make a big move. So I'm gonna have Victor on the show soon. Hopefully, he could talk about what him and Kanye talked about. So it's so crazy that you bringing up names that's
That's
like
crazy because I didn't know that. But
it,
I actually have Kanye written into my paper, like because Kanye literally inspired me to sit down and just go into my bag and like just put things out freely that, that I would have normally held on to.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been in this Kanye space in my crib, and then they dropped this Genius shit. I don't watch that shit like 7,878 million times.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really literally, the article that's in the description, y'all can click on, I wrote that, the backdrop. You know how you have shit playing in the background? I
Yeah.
had Kanye playing in
In
the
the backdrop.
background.
Inspired.
Yeah. So my dad, Kanye, I didn't already mention. I mean, you see, I mean,
I
so
see him.
yeah,
I see him in the green.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I appreciate being part of that list. You said it quick, but I received that. How they say in church, I received that.
I got everyday inspirations, man. You gotta,
Thank you. I
like I
appreciate.
said, it's you and a handful of other brothers I know that teach class, just not just how you live. You know what I'm saying? You teach, and men learning how to be classy is a thing that we need. Like, we don't have a system for etiquette or decorum. You know what I'm saying? So that's important.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that, bro. All right, we're gonna go to where we at now. Okay, we at 7. All right. What is one myth about healers that you want to debunk?
Ah, a myth about healers that I want to debunk. We got to go in, people. The myth that I want to debunk is that naturopaths and holistic healers are somehow secondary to medical doctors. That we are somehow like in a way, like we are pseudo medical doctors, or that we want to be medical doctors but we couldn't, or we can, or we whatever the case may be. Like, no, y'all need to understand your history a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The first 3 quote unquote medicines on record are morphine, aspirin, and quinine. Morphine, aspirin, and quinine, right? And the craziest thing about those is none of those are medicines. Morphine comes from the opium plant. Aspirin comes from willow bark, right? Comes from the bark of willow trees, right? White willow bark, right? And quinine comes from cinchona trees, the bark of the cinchona tree. So those are the first 3 medicines. Like, if you look up the history of medicine, they'll say that one or all 3, wherever you look up, depending on this, they're going to name them 3 as the early medicines, and all of those are herbal extracts.
Hmm.
All those are herbs that herbalists was using hundreds of thousands of years before, the Western, the European establishment came in and was like, oh no, this is a medicine, right? That's not. No, medicine starts as we know it in the 20s and the 30s. They're not even 100 years old. Medicine started in the 20s and 30s. And 19, was that 25 or 28, something like that. You have antibiotics, and then in the 30s, 10 years later, maybe, just give or take, you have the invention of sulfur-based medicines. And that is what's launched the pharmaceutical industry in the 20s and 30s, when they came with antibiotics and sulfur. Before that, all they was doing was trying to put the herbalists and the naturopaths out of business, like on some mob shit. Like, if you didn't pay any money to the Rockefeller syndicate, then then you was illegal. You know what I'm saying? But if you paid them a few dollars, then they gave you a title and certified you to go ahead and do your thing,
Regardless of what it did to your body.
regardless of what you was. Yeah, you ain't had to know much. You just had to pay that bread. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's
but
sort of how they get driver's license in third world country. You buy the license.
hold on, Mr. G, let me enlighten your viewership with some other shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to know what. Matter of fact, I don't even want to ask, because I see too many people in your chat room from my channel. So I know that the people that's in your chat room from my channel, they're gonna know the answer.
I appreciate your people coming over. Welcome.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, and you could guess. See what you'll guess.
Duck sauce.
What? No, no. What do you think Europeans was using for medicine before the things that I just mentioned, like before antibiotics and before sulfur-based drugs? What do you think they was using for medicine in Europe?
Europeans?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm under the understanding that we were here first. So,
Right. Well, we had a whole different program. We always were using herbs and things like that. Right. That's what we were always using. But I want to ask you, like, what do you think? Oh man, hold on. That's not the right thing. See something? No, that's not the right thing.
somebody say urine.
Nah, that's wrong.
Okay. Well, I would have filled with you, Diana, because I would have copied your answer. Somebody said blood.
Well, watch this. This gonna blow your mind. Hold on.
Well, wasn't they cutting people? You got your hand was hurting. They were just cutting your hand off.
Hit the share screen.
Yes, sir. Hold on.
This is the wildest thing ever. When you see this, your mind's gonna be blown. They was eating black people.
Get the fuck out of
here. Yo, Mr. G, I promise you.
What?
All you gotta do is look up medicinal or medical cannibalism. This is where all
no. I mean, I know a lot of these rich people when they need body parts, I know they act for black people body parts. I want a black person's heart, lungs. I didn't know they was eating them though.
Listen, this was the #1 medicine.
Get the hell out of here.
In Europe, they were eating black folks as medicine. If anybody wants to get
what year was this?
Oh, all throughout the whole up till right shit. Oh, yo, this shit been going on till damn near right now. Oh,
excuse me.
Hold on. There you go. Yeah. Mummies, cannibals, and vampires. Right.
Please don't put no videos of somebody eating. I got a weak stomach. I tell everybody that.
Nah. But this is a book right here. This book right here will enlighten you on the whole history of it. If you want to understand what Europeans was doing for medicine before they got their hands on, they start making up like antibiotics and all that. They was eating black people. Specifically black people, and there was a tax on it. They was importing it. That's why you got to watch out, because the Arab brothers, they got the chicken spots. They in the grocery stores in the hood.
Don't say it.
Ones that were selling us to the Europeans to eat.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say they have us on the grill up in there.
No. Okay, they might as well have. They were selling us to niggas to eat us. You know what I'm saying? They started out eating the mummies from Egypt. And then once the mummies ran out, they were just grabbing black folks. And, that was a big part all the way up to slavery. Nat Turner got turned into medicinal food, too. They ate Nat Turner. Yeah, they ate Nat Turner. Like, these are all facts. Like, it's crazy. But anybody could just peruse on down this channel and, like go down this rabbit hole. And matter of fact, let me show you the legacy real quick. This right here is on YouTube. Look at this right here. Now hold on, let me make sure Frank, look at this. This right here is on YouTube. Look. Now, don't be mad at me, people, because I did not put this outfit on this guy. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because people want to blame you for things other folks is doing. But this is the legacy of that. You know what I'm saying? So, right here, he's getting ready to break down in the video the nutrition that you get from eating brains. And then he's getting ready to knock off some brains like live right here. He's going to eat some raw.
How many views they have?
17,000.
Damn.
Yeah, he's going to eat some raw. Look.
All right, y'all can look at that. I don't want to see that. Tell me when he off the screen.
Right, he's going to eat some raw. Then he's going to show you how to cook it.
He need Jesus.
Man.
All right, I don't want to see no more. That's it. Okay, him.
So
that's crazy.
It's wild out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So that's they started eating black folks for medicine. You know what I'm saying? So, like people just so enamored with this other culture is like they gotta come.
I ain't thinking we was gonna get there, but damn.
Hey, listen, they gotta understand sunlight, water, and herbs was and always will be the number one thing in terms of treating the human body for sickness. The Hippocratic oath that they're trying to get rid of, if they didn't totally get rid of it already, but the Hippocratic oath that doctors all used to have to like pledge to, that was created based on herbs, sunlight, and water. They didn't have sulfur drugs and antibiotics and all that goofy shit back then. They was using natural, you know what I'm saying? Now they was into a little crazy thing because they was doing bloodletting and some of the wild stuff too back then. But it was, yeah. It was eating the skin of black people, and they like the skulls, to powderize the skull, eat the powdered skull and all that. That was medicine in Europe.
Yo, you did a lot of research, bro. God damn. That's crazy. All right, let me get to question 8. Shit, I don't even want to touch that. They was eating niggas.
Yeah, it's another book called, I think, The Delectable Negro, where they talk about the
question 8.
My bad. But it didn't stop in Europe. When they got here throughout the slavery process, that was what they was doing. Like, they was eating the slaves. And anyway, but go ahead.
What's your favorite herb and why?
Chondrus crispus. You know what I'm saying? That's my favorite. And because of the high phosphorus levels. And then the pigments. That's one of the things that's different about mine. Like when people buy it, they notice it has a blue tinge to it. And the reason why is because I found out by accident how to do something special with it, but the pigment determines how much nutrients is still locked in. So, people getting the yellows and the beiges and all that kind of stuff, that's super oxidized by the sun. You want to get that raw right out the ocean. But yeah, it's amazing for your brain, your melanin, your pigment, your bone system.
Where can we see the video of you picking that sea moss out the ocean?
That's going to be part of my documentary.
Okay.
So I got it in the stash, you know what I'm saying? But I'll pull out a clip or two here and there. But like that right there, people see me on the boat going to get it. Actually, the season opening up, so I'm getting ready to go back. I got to start going back to get more. So I'll probably have more footage in the water, acting the fool and all that. But
all right.
That created a lot of negative energy for me, Mr. G. Because a lot of people was hating. So many people sell sea moss, but they ain't never seen like a healer actually go as a mosser. Like I might be the first mosser healer. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they, people was hating. You know what I'm saying? But
I can see that. I can see that. All right. Damn. Can I ask? I ain't even ask about the documentary because I know you probably got something hidden. Yo,
I was
salute.
gonna work on it last year, but then so much stuff was happening. I was like, man, all of this crazy shit going on in my life. I gotta wait. This all gotta be in the like. I gotta get all this shit going on in my
Facts.
documentary.
Well, well, publicly, I give you the rights to use anything from this interview in your documentary. I'll be honored.
So much amazing Mr. G footage. You know, Mr. G shoots amazing footage for me, pass it off in the stash. So I got, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Now you can let them know that you flew me to Detroit and we was out. I was out there for a week. You got a gym in your basement. This- your basement is bigger than some people whole apartments, including the bedrooms and kitchen. I went down there. Like, what the hell? This is a whole community down here.
Hey, you know what? You gave me one of the best compliments I ever had in my life. You don't even realize how dearly I hold that to my heart. The first thing you said to me, because I don't let people go into my basement.
Mm.
I don't let nobody down there because that's where my herbs and stuff is at.
I was about to say, first of all, it's not a basement. It's a gym.
Yeah,
It's a area.
yeah,
It's a lab.
yeah,
That's not just one thing.
yeah. So nobody gets downstairs. You know what I'm saying? Like, period. You know what I'm saying? I got friends that I've been friends with for years, 5 years, 10 years. They've never walked down those steps ever.
Wow.
But you gave me one of the best compliments I ever had because you went downstairs and then the first thing you said to me when you came up the stairs, I remember you came up the steps, walked through the kitchen. I'm sitting at the bar and you say, yo, do you know that your downstairs smells just like Dr. Sebi's Dr. Sebi's lab out there in Honduras?
That's a fact. That's
And
a
I was
fact.
like, that was like, that was
Shout out
like
to
that was
shout
like
out to
Michael Jordan
Chapita.
saying, like, yo, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like you got the same, you know what I'm saying? Like that was
That was a fact. That's a is a fact. When I walk downstairs, now that you remind me, it smells just like the area where Chapita makes all of the herbs for Usha Village. I was like, oh shit, this is a familiar smell.
yeah,
So I didn't even know you remembered that. I forgot it until you said it right now.
right there. I'm never forgetting that. I'm never forgetting that right
That's a
there. You're
fact, bro.
you're the aficionado on all things Sebi. So when you said that, that was like a super stamp. Like that was a stamp. Like, oh, my workspace smells like his workspace. It's
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
So yeah, so that
I forgot all about that too. Right now, you remind me. That's a fact. All right, so let's move on to the next question. Oh, let me say what's up to a couple of people. Sapito, I see you, bro. That's my brother right there. Bville, Bronzeville, Sap. That's my brother right there. He actually came with me to Honduras. He actually, I took him to Dr. Sebi gravesite, and the he can tell you. Well, I don't know. I don't want to tell your business, but we at Dr. Sebi gravesite. It's a sunny day. Sunny day. He gets by Dr. Sebi gravesite, starts speaking to him, and then it just started raining, bro. It started raining like a light rain, like, and our clothes wasn't even really getting wet, but it was just
like an acknowledgement. Like
you feel me? So I was like, yo. So then we get to from La Ceiba where Dr. Sebi's at, we go to Corozal. And when we go to Corozal, now it's raining. But when we walk to the beach, is open, like the sunlight, like in a cloud, in a dark cloud, it's just sunlight right there, just shining down towards us. And he was like, yo, G, check that out. I said, Sebi, it's always something like that happen when you go see Dr. Sebi. So anybody who's in the building or ever go to Honduras, Dr. Sebi is in La Ceiba. He's next to the courthouse. It's the only cemetery there. Just ask for Alfredo Bowman. They'll walk you right to him. And I want to say what's up to my my man photographer, I believe is he said that he just received my book today. If you have any questions, you can email me. Open to answer any questions that people might have about the book. And I appreciate your support and everybody else in the building right now. All right, and we get into
Okay,
question
wait, wait,
9.
wait, wait. One more thing, because I see somebody KTS TV. They said they got some sea moss from Grenada. Um,
Mhm.
um, Here's the thing with sea moss too. There's a lot of different types and species of algae that are edible. So with the Chondrus crispus, Chondrus crispus doesn't grow in hot places. So that's the one thing about Chondrus crispus too. It grows in dangerous cold water where you got to go in the cold water. It could be like stingrays and sharks and all kinds of shit is up there. It's not like in the beautiful Caribbean where it's, you know what I'm saying, and people die. People die in them cold waters. That's why it's very few people that really risk it to go get those. That's one of the reasons why Chondrus crispus is not as popular as a lot of the other sea mosses, because it's more dangerous to go get it. You got to put a little bit more investment into it. Like when you out in the Caribbean, you could just swim out and grab some of them sea mosses that's out there.
It'd be on the shores,
Yeah, yeah. You
right
can't.
there on the shores.
Yeah, you ain't getting no chondrus down there. You ain't getting no
Hmm.
bladderwracks down there. Them is all cold water. You got to be up. That's why they say Irish moss. So Irish moss is talking about the kelps, the bladderwracks, and the chondruses, because they grow up near Ireland in the cold, freezing cold water. And then you got the sea moss, which is typically like the stuff that grows in the Caribbean, your gusos and gracilarias and all of those different types of strains. So they all nutritious. They all got different things in them, different benefits, upside, downside, that makes them different. You know what I'm saying? They all good. You need them all in your body, but they all got different, the different benefits.
Bro, thanks for that. I didn't know that. I appreciate that, bro. You see, you learn something new every day.
No doubt, no doubt.
All right, before I get to question number 9, let me just say what's up to my cousin Nelson David. Little Bonde. What up, cuz? Aba isieni. And Aba isieni husu nani guya garifuna. I just said one love to all my people that's garifuna. I love the fact that even though we speaking in English, I see a lot of my Garifuna brothers in here showing love. So Darian Bless, salute. That's one of my Guatemala and Garifuna brothers. I see he was in the building. All right.
Wait, somebody asked me about the Peru moss. They got some good algae that grows out there in Peru. But Chondrus crispus doesn't grow out there. But Peru, they got some good stuff. Algae grows everywhere all over this planet. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a matter of like, is this country's algae good or it's
Mhm.
not like that. They all nutritious, you know what I'm saying? But they all different. That's all.
All right. If you see any questions you want to address in it before I ask you the
Nah, nah,
last
nah,
two
nah. Let's go
questions.
to your questions because we OD. We tripping. I'm tripping.
All right, now, okay. Number 9, where can, where can, man, hold on, I just got a message that threw my mind off. My bad. Um, where can my followers and my friends follow? Find you, EnQi. So social media.
Yep, I'm on YouTube. I'm always getting in trouble with YouTube. I just got my main page. Well, I just lost the page last year, but now I got a new page. I've been building up momentum, and then I messed around and put some information out there that if you give too much information about the pandemic and the, and the
I don't know nothing about that, but go
right,
ahead.
it shut the page down. So I appealed the process. I lost the appeal, but the suspension was only for a week. So within the next 24 to 48 hours, I have my page back. So
Your official page?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Definitely,
good.
just tap in with my YouTube pages, or if you're in Clubhouse, like I said, I got 2 rooms on Clubhouse: True Believers of Health or Genius Lives Matter. Like I just started that room up. Um, so yeah, you can catch me over there. I mean, that's my actual real phone number right there too. So people can shoot me a text. Like sometimes people ask questions, but they, what I'm saying? Like, I guess what's right in front of them, they don't see, but it's, what I'm saying? It's right there. People can text me. You know what I'm saying? I don't have like 3 phones.
Yo, Ink, I didn't even realize you had your number right there.
No, you know how much
I'm thinking
videos
that's
I
some
do?
kind of decode, some code for
No,
something.
no. Not you, but the people. Like people ask me that all the time on my channel. Because that's been there, like on every video I do, that's on there. And people ask me all the time, like, yo, how do I get in touch with you? I'm like,
Right there. Yo, take that number down. Take that number down. This brother's full of information. I'm looking at you this whole time, they didn't realize that your number's right there.
but that's because we save numbers by names. We don't remember numbers no more.
Yeah, I only
So
know
when I
one
go in my
person
phone,
number.
like, I don't know your number, Mr. G.
I
I
don't
know
know.
Mr. G. You know what I'm saying? I hit
Facts,
Mr.
facts.
G and then bang.
Done. All right, so you gave all information about IG, Twitter, your website,
You went in.
the website for the clothes is because that was a different website from DrEnqi.com.
Yes, I would type that. Oh, dang, I don't know how to type it, and I can't type it in from here. But polyibic. Hold on, let me find a way.
I'm gonna put it in the description after we go.
Polyibic.com, because nobody knows how to spell that right there. Here we go. That's just my thing. You know what I'm saying? So people gonna be like, polyibic, what the hell is that? So throw that up in there. Polyibic.com. That's basically the movement. Like, I had to separate us and differentiate us from the polyglots out there. We got the 24-month 5-language challenge going. And the people in the language world, they learn in languages to try to be able to speak a bunch of languages, where our goal is really just to rebuild the brain, to kickstart neurogenesis. You know what I'm saying? To add the mental exercise with the dietary discipline. You know what I'm saying? So
Yo, that's so true, brother, because everything I do, like I speak to you in English because you speak English, but I'm a Garifuna man. Everything in my mind when I'm alone is in Garifuna. When if I'm about I used to compete in combat sport. I ain't gonna say which one, but I used to compete. When is that me or you? Or that's you? Whenever
checking to see if
the number's right. Yeah, I see his official. That's his number.
Yeah.
Whenever I would, even in basketball, if I'm going at you thinking in English, I feel like I'm going at you with 60% of my power. But when I go at you with that Garifu na faradibu, na bocha guadibu, that's like coming. I feel you don't have no wins against me.
Let me tell you, they showed the studies. They've done studies that shows the more languages you've learned, the more languages you've attempted to learn. You don't even have to learn them to be deep. The more languages that you've been exposed to.
That was Boogie who hit your phone. He was checking, but go ahead.
Okay. the lower your it's actually like 3 people just hit me.
Look at that.
The more languages you've been exposed to, the lower your risk factors for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dementia.
I heard that.
Yeah, and so it actually kickstarts. They thought back in the days they used to say do crossword puzzles and shit like that, but after a while they realized that none of those things actually kickstarts neurogenesis. The only thing that really does it is studying new languages, because once you learn a language, it no longer presents a challenge. So if you're doing crossword puzzles in English, or like if you're doing crossword puzzles in Garifuna, it's not going to continue to build your brain because it doesn't present the same challenge. So that's why we're switching languages every few months. Like the moment we get familiar with it, we're getting rid of that and we're moving on to something else.
Okay.
So a brand new challenge. You know what I'm saying? So
No, I see that. I see that because e- English is actually my third language. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, in Bronzeville, Brooklyn. I didn't learn how to speak English till they sent me to school.
Mm,
That was the first time I ever saw a white person. I remember looking at the white person, thinking, looking at her fingertips. I was like, she looked like she's sick because her fingertips was pink. You
yeah.
know how the rim be
Under
pink?
the
Like
nail, yeah, under the nail be a
I was
different.
like, yo. And then she was speaking the language that sounded real weak to me
Mm,
because Garifuna is a rough language.
yeah, yeah. It's very
So
emotional.
I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna ask you a question. This is my last question.
Okay.
Oh man, we already at 10 o'clock.
We going in.
All right. But this last question is what I ask everybody who have something to do with healing. So not everybody gonna get this question, but okay. What does healing means to you?
Um, well, I'm an electromagnetic tissue specialist. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Here we go.
yeah. So that's my thing right there. Like, um,
I need you to stay true to my title, EnQi. Come
yeah,
on, let's
yeah.
go.
No, we going in. I'm gonna pull up the article and we're gonna go in on it. But outside of that, before I go into that, I think it's also your lifestyle, because your lifestyle is able to impact people and change people's lives. Like,
Before you go there, real quick, EnQi King, what's your cash app? They asking me to put it up.
oh shit, yes, matter of fact, I'm glad somebody reminded me of that. So one of the things I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build 100 supporters, at least 100 people that says, you know what, we like the research, we want to back it. Right, I'm asking 100 people to dedicate $85 a month to send to me, or $25 a week, right up until I get the book deal from Kanye. That's what I want. I want a $5 million book deal from Kanye, or that's low balling, but I take a $5 million book deal from Kanye, or Drake, or Nas, somebody. I want to see them stop signing rappers and start signing healers to book deals. That's what I want to see pop. That's what I feel like the next evolution for our hip hop moguls. You got mogul status, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Dame Dash, you know what I'm saying? Dame Dash opening liquor businesses and sugar businesses, and he got diabetes. Come on, bro, stop it. Put some of that money into healers and book writers and authors that's going to do something to really change our legacy long term. So I want to be the first. But
Okay.
outside of that, I'm looking for 100 people, like I said, $85 a month. $ Mr.G. Yeah, there we go. Holistic Rudy. Click on his click his comment real quick so he could pop up on the screen. If you
I'm
click it,
looking for him.
he on the side right there. He's on right on top of Sanjay Cephas Williams L.
One.
Holistic Rudy.
Okay.
He like 10 comments up.
Oh, up. Okay.
Yeah, he like 10 comments up. Oh, there go some people at the bottom. They got it. Boogie Smurf got it right there.
Okay. So I could just click on this.
And then it pop up. No, not that one. The one Boogie. Yeah, there you go. No, Boogie. Oh, they go Mike Carter too. There you go. Bang. Yeah.
Okay. So let me take the border off real quick so they
Mike
can
Carter
see
from Brooklyn.
right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
All right. So go ahead. Let's go.
yeah. So what I was saying was, though, healing is like, it's a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So when you really live it, and it's not like just a hustle to flip for some cash or whatever, you're gonna change people's lives all the time around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, one of my homeboys, I gotta shout him out, Bill, Billions. This is a, you know, people in the street communities, they know who he is and what he, you know, but you know, these are rough, these are certain type of guys, you know what I'm saying? And now he got a vegan restaurant and you know he's selling herbs, you know what I'm saying? Like this, that's real transformation, you know what I'm saying? See that. So um the comedian Ha Ha Davis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I went across the country with them. I sponsored a lot of the things that he was doing early on. You know, I believed in him, but them boys was wow. They was eating like donut bacon sandwiches and all kind of wild shit. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Fried donuts.
what with
I've been on
bacon?
the road.
Like, but now post Dr. EnQi, this nigga think he a trainer. You know what I'm saying? He done lost about 50, 60 pounds. Every time you see him, he in the gym working. Like it's just so, you know, healing is also, you know, being able to create a resonance in people where they can see um something in themselves that maybe they didn't see before. And then that starts to become a seed, you know, that becomes like a seed where you can start watering it, and then before you know it, they don't even need you anymore. They already, you know, they somewhere else with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's also that too. It's just, you know, it's a vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a vibe. You know, healing is a vibe. You know what I'm saying? So we got some specifics we gonna get to, but it's also just a vibe, an energy, a frequency, a healing. You know that you give off. You know what I'm saying? And people, you know, if you can communicate it the right way, people can latch on to it, and you know, we could do some damage out here. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to change the world.
Okay, well, shit, you did that just tonight. I'm pretty sure you changed a lot of people's situation, and this the Dr. Inky cycle. Talk to me. I mean,
Let's go. Let's pull this out.
you got me hype about it. Hold on, let me take all this off.
All
Yeah,
right.
give you all this room.
All right, bet. So and the link for this article, if people want to check it out, because I already had y'all hostage for 2 hours already. So I'm gonna give y'all like an abridged version, right? But basically, we ran a 40-day fruit fast for, I want to say, the better part of 10 years. And throughout that time, I was able to um, examine what what effect a heavy pigment based diet would have on people um, in a wide variety of ways. I'm talking about from people with diabetes to people with lupus, cancer, people that had already been vegan since before I was born, bodybuilders. I got IFBB pro guys and all kinds of different people, NFL players. You know what I'm saying? I got guys with Super Bowl rings. You know what I'm saying? Like
Damn,
so I've been able to.
that explain that gym in your basement. But go ahead.
so
Now I know what you do down there.
so you know yeah we be getting it in. So I was able to just examine and just document a wide variety of people on a even on like clean eating meat diets, you know, like, you know, they chicken breasted up and all that kind of stuff, like just examine.
But
And
I'm sorry to cut you off real quick. Um, I hear a lot of people telling me they eat bison and that's good meat.
nah, they bugging. They got that from a goofball that I ain't gonna give no props to on this show by saying his name out loud, but nah.
Okay, but that's not a good thing.
Nah, no meat. I mean, it's a better, see, here's the thing. It's a better meat, right? So if we're comparing bison to other meat,
Hmm.
then yeah, it's a better meat. Anything that's less processed, less chemicalized is going to be, you know, better in comparison to something that's more chemicalized. So if we're talking about comparing bison to Purdue chicken, or you know what I'm saying, like in that space, or bison to steak from the supermarket, then of course. But if you're comparing bison to any other meat that you get that doesn't have any pesticides and it comes from the butcher shop, as opposed to being, you know, processed with chemicals and preservatives and pork blood and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, rat droppings and all that shit, you know, of course it's going to be better.
All right.
But,
Damn.
yeah, because, you know, when you get meat from the supermarket, it has rat droppings in it, you know, mouse shit, rat shit.
I know what droppings is.
Well, the FDA says that that's legal for you to have between 3 and 5 turds of rat shit in your meat, because it's so rampant throughout the meat business that they can't get the rats out of the warehouse. So they, you know, as long as it's a little bit, it's cool with them. So
Damn.
I don't know about you people at home, you know what I'm saying? But stuff like that made me turn, like, I was like, wait, hold on. Because when you're speaking to people that think they healthy because they feel good, they can move around, whatever, certain shit about health doesn't really click. But the moment I found out there was rat shit, I was like,
Game over.
You gonna work on this damn vegan thing. I don't care if I gotta eat fucking quinoa forever. Like, we're not eating rat shit. I can't bring myself to feed rat shit to my children. But so it's a cleaner meat, like venison. You know what I'm saying? It's just a cleaner meat. It's a wild, you know, it's less processed, you know what I'm saying, than the stuff that's out there. So in that capacity, you know, it has less saturated fat to it. So it's got some benefits if you're comparing it to other meats.
Okay.
Right. But it's still meat at the end of the day. So if you're comparing it to, say, some plants, then there's no competition.
Okay. Choose your poison, basically.
Yeah. But like I said, I got a chance to study people on a wide variety of different diets. And one of the things that was crazy was when I started to get to the root of like the differences, and Dr. Africa was good at highlighting the differences between white folks and black folks. Like, I used to watch his videos and just be cracking up because he just was so animated with his passion about the differences between black folks' bodies and white folks' bodies. So so shout out to them. Let all the OGs rest in greatness. You know what I'm saying? Baba Kalindi and, you know, Francis Cress Wilson, and all of the OGs that already transitioned. You know what I'm saying? But one of the things that is very dangerous that was highlighted, and it's like scratch a lie, find a thief. One of the things that was that's dangerous, especially to black folks and brown folks, is the idea of mitochondria producing the energy for your body. And there's such a thing called Kleber's law. It's something that was found out by Max Kleber, a flaw in this whole science about ATP providing all the energy from your body from food. And so he found out through a wide variety of tests and studies that there was about 20 to 40% of a person's daily energy output that couldn't be accounted for with food, period. And so even till this very moment, they have no idea where it comes from. They don't discuss it. It's just a quiet thing. They just overlook that in science like it didn't really happen. But in I want to say 32 or 35, somewhere around there, he literally dropped the whole biochemistry community on their face. They tried to debunk him. They couldn't debunk him. They couldn't figure it out. They just had to award him and just move on. Like, yo, this is some other shit. But up until right now, that still serves as the main impotence. Like, you got to eat food. You got to eat food. You got to eat food. And you know, like I said, since I was little, I always wanted to study and prove that my OGs was right. I didn't want to study to debunk the OGs. I wanted to prove them. And one of the things, you know, like, that's how I kind of got deeply wrapped up into the mysteries and the Sebi, you know, the whole Sebi movement, because I always jumped out there to defend when people try to, attack. And one of the things, they jump on is the fasting. You know what I'm saying? And so, Kleber's law is something that was like a huge breadcrumb for me in terms of unraveling what would later on become the EnQi cycle, and then some other cycles that we're going to talk about. So it's about this missing energy that your body produces that they don't know where it comes from, but they know for one thing's for sure that it does not come from fats, proteins, or carbohydrates, and it doesn't come from the metabolism of stored fats, proteins, because that's the thing they'll hit you with. Oh, well, once you go into fasting mode, your body starts to break down the fats and the sugars and no, this is outside of all of that. This sits outside of all of that, right? So anyway, we'll get to the goodies in a second, right? So as I start to study it, I noticed that not only Max Kleber, but all of the guys that built up what we know as this foundation of health, from Antoine Lavoisier, let me see here, Edward Pfluger, Julius Sachs, Max Rubner, and you guys could look all these guys up. These are the guys that created the foundation of biochemistry, right? So your metabolic baseline, or your basal metabolic rate, like that serves as the baseline for all health, whether you're talking about surgery, medicine, working out in the gym, being an athlete, VO2 max, like it all comes down to your basal metabolic rate, because that's going to determine how much energy your body needs, quote unquote, from calories, and how fast your body can recover, heal, regenerate. This determines surgery time and all kinds of different stuff, right? So, yeah, hold the questions we'll get to type 1 and type 2. But yeah, because I don't want them to distract me. So,
Okay.
But so what I found out when I started to dig into where they got this information that forms the foundation of our biochemistry, we wasn't involved. All of these studies, right? And I'm showing the studies here. These are the graphs and just reference material, so you can see all of their studies on human biochemistry was done on plants, animals, and Europeans indoors with no natural lighting. They had no studies that was done with brown or black folks, or even with white folks outside in the sun. So that right there, combined with Kleber's law, told me that there was something that was totally missing from this whole puzzle, right? So I have all of this research, and then I have almost 10 years of putting a wide variety of people, white, black, Spanish. I got people from Germany, Australia, Ireland, Canada, South America, every continent on this planet to participate in the 40-day fast. Seriously, every continent on this planet. And what we found out was that nobody needs, like your body does not get its primary energy from food. Food is not your primary energy source. You have a whole nother energy cycle in the body, and that's what the EnQi cycle is. The EnQi cycle is the original way that cells actually make energy, because we think that, like, for instance, we got to go back in time when this planet was nothing but single cell organisms. There was no kale salad, so there was no plant-based diet for cells. Like, cells was not having a salad. They wasn't having smoothies. There was no burgers. There was no bison. You know what I'm saying? Like cells didn't have that. So the only way that a cell, like the only way complex life forms was able to even come about, is that the cells had to produce their own internal energy from the only two resources that they had. And the two resources that they had was light and sound. Sound provided the basis for most of the early biochemistry in single cell organisms. So what what cells go through to produce this energy is simple. We heard, a lot of us anyway, about water structuring itself, and structured water, and H3O2, and the geometry of structured water. And we don't realize that that geometry of structured water is less important than the process of water structuring itself. The process, like MB say, trust the process. The process is what's important, right? And you had goofballs like Arturo Salas Herrera. He's a guy who put this idea out there that melanin does human photosynthesis, right? And that's pure goofballery. Melanin does not do human photosynthesis. That's another pet peeve I have when I hear people say that and repeat that. Like that, I know that they don't know what they're saying. They just repeating something they heard somebody else say. The end product of photosynthesis is oxygen and sugar, carbohydrates. That's what plants do with photosynthesis. They make sugar and they make oxygen. We don't make sugar. So melanin does not do photosynthesis. You don't make oranges. Ain't no oranges hanging off your back, or no apples. Like that is photosynthesis. When the plant takes the sun's energy and converts them into starches and fruits, right? That's not what we do. Our melanin, and again, this is another Dr. EnQi discovery. So a lot of things that I say and I teach, people have a problem with it because they're uncomfortable with making a reference of me. They don't feel like, and a part of it is self-hate because they don't really understand their own value, so they can't understand my value. So they're uncomfortable with saying Dr. EnQi is the reference, but Dr. EnQi is the reference. Dr. EnQi is the first one to say that melanin is photovoltaic. Melanin is photovoltaic. And it was the understanding that melanin was photovoltaic that allowed me in my kitchen to make mama atomics and heal my daughter from the broken neck and spine. So that was what I understood then, is that melanin is about producing electricity in the body. Melanin is about harnessing energy and creating free electrons, right? And so that is not a process of photosynthesis. That's a process of photovoltaism. So that's a substance that's able to take light and sound and turn it into electricity, versus photosynthesis, where you can take light or sound and turn that into sugar, right? That's totally two different processes. But so understanding that, right, what water does in its structuring process, and this is important, is that when water breaks down, you create negative ions and positive ions. And what happens, it's the same as like weather, right? When they say there's a tornado warning, they say there's a warm front meeting a cold front. Because whenever you have negative ions and positive ions come together, they start to circle each other and spin. So that's how you get a tornado, a maelstrom in the ocean, and even inside your cells, you have what's called coherent domains. So people can look up coherent domain. The coherent domain is little vortexes of water that happens inside your cells when the water is structuring itself and the charges separate. And when you have the negative and the positive come together, they create little vortexes, and those vortexes are able to take low frequency sound and turn it into higher frequency light. This is another reason why Black folks love bass. We don't understand that it's the relationship of water and melanin inside of our cells that's converting that bass into light inside our body. So for us, we hear music where other races just hear noise. It fucks them up. But for us, it's like healing. That's going.
Be, real quick, I like that you said that because I know a lot of African brothers and a lot of Garifuna brothers. When we hear a certain hip hop song, we like it because the bass in it sound like our drums.
Facts. That's the whole thing about where we fell in love with the drums. Like it's tapping into some other part of us that we didn't know was there.
Okay.
Right? So this is an energy system, and that's why I had to name it after myself. So people, when y'all hear about this and y'all want to teach it or share it, make sure y'all call it the EnQi cycle. Like, don't try to steal it, flip it, and bounce it like you researched it. Watching me on YouTube is not you researching. It's you watching me after I researched it. So call it the EnQi cycle. Like,
Did you register that anywhere?
We putting it out. We got it in publications, and we getting it out there. But it's not something that's a part of cellular respiration. So that's why I have to put this up here so people know what cellular respiration is. Cellular respiration is when your cells create energy from oxygen and food, and it discards, look at that right there, as waste products, carbon dioxide and water. So in this regard, water is not a waste product. Water is the central feature of energy production itself, right? And the reason why this is important for me to have done all those studies in terms of going back to the origins of biochemistry and seeing how they came up with their findings is because if you don't have high amounts of melanin, you can't utilize this energy. Even if you get in the structured water and all that old slick shit they learning from Gerald Pollack, or they listening to Jack Cruz and they think they mitochondriacs and all this shit. They don't even understand what they're listening to. Those people are all a part of the racist scientific institution, because they're never going to tell you that mitochondria runs secondary to melanin. Let me show you this other picture. Hold on. We're gonna bring this back up. I gotta show you something else because people need to see this. Mitochondria. I hear so many goofballs. Like, people don't want to get down with me. They want to go against me. So when they hear me teaching, they want to try to find something to be smarter or sharper than me, and still sharp and still. But you got to learn to learn. Like, you got to learn to study and appreciate. Like I say, genius lives matter, man. Don't wait till your genius is dead to you know what I'm saying? Genius lives matter. Let me show you this here, because inside your cells, go ahead, hit the share, Mr. G.
Oh yeah, I'm on point now. I know.
Okay.
I'm starting to be a veteran now.
Okay, my bad. Inside your cells, mitochondria doesn't work by itself. So anybody talking about mitochondria, either they don't know what they're talking about, or they covering up the truth. And the truth is that melanin is the star of the show, right? Let me show you. I got a picture inside the cell so you can see how crazy it is. I got so many slides on this. Okay, boom. This is a picture of the melanin drops surrounding the mitochondria, right? Now, here's the picture with the melanosomes. The melanosomes is what creates the melanin. These right here, where you see the those are your mitochondria. Every single entranceway for NAD to get in and out of mitochondria is there with melanin, because it's melanin that's actually feeding the electrons to the NAD. Not only that, it's melanin that has to make sure that all of the free radicals produced by the mitochondria is quenched and absorbed before they destroy the cell. Because if there was no melanin inside the cell, the mitochondria free radicals alone would destroy the cells. You wouldn't even be able to survive. Like you wouldn't, the humans wouldn't even exist. We would have already been turned into liquid. Mitochondria would have destroyed us already. It's melanin inside the cell keeping them in check, because as the electron transport chain does what it does, those free radicals that pop off of there, you know what I'm saying, like sparks, and them sparks would destroy the cell, but melanin is there to absorb that. But look how packed in your cell is like that. Look how packed in the cell is, to pretend like they not there, to pretend like they not there. You know what I'm saying? So it's melanin that actually feeds the NAD electrons, and then the NAD takes care of the sirtuins, the NRF2, the nucleus where the DNA is, all the mitochondria, as we seen right there. Like all of those things are regulated by NAD, and the NAD is regulated by the melanin. The melanin couples with the water in your cells, and it creates a whole energy system outside of cellular respiration, right? Because the water spinning in that coherent domain, and people can look up coherent domain, but in that coherent domain, it creates a pool of free electrons. As that pool is turning sound into light, it's also creating a pool of free electrons that melanin is able to harness and feed into the NAD, which then powers your, pentose phosphate pathway and all the other stuff going on inside the cell. So that right there, that coupled relationship between melanin and those coherent domains is discovered, and that's the EnQi cycle of energy production right there. And there's a few more. There's a few more that's in the paper, that, you know what I'm saying, but that one right there is the most important in terms of type 2 diabetes, because type 2 diabetes, remember, is a it's an energy problem in your body. Remember, it's high glucose levels, and insulin is supposed to get the glucose in so you can make energy. Right? That's the whole purpose of glucose, supposedly, so that your cell can go through the Krebs cycle or the tricarboxylic acid cycle and break down the glucose, break open the carbon bonds, repackage that energy through the electron transport chain as ATP. But this, like I showed, shows a whole nother cycle of energy production that we tap into from time to time by mistake. From time to time, we tap into this by mistake. We've all had days, especially those of us that are creatives. Like if you mundane, you gotta, and God bless you. Hopefully you do better. But if you got a life where you just 9 to 5 in it and you're doing shit you hate for a living, you might not have experienced many of these days. But for the people that are blessed enough to do what they love, oh, you got plenty of days where you, like, for instance, for you, Mr. G, you got plenty of days probably you could remember where you was filming and all that, and you forgot to eat.
Facts.
You got so locked into filming and editing and doing your shit, you didn't eat, and you didn't get a headache. You didn't get cranky and hungry. You was upbeat, excited, good mood the whole fucking time, and not till somebody reminds you or
did you eat today?
Yeah, like, oh damn,
that's a 100% fact.
And then
guilty.
All of a sudden, guess what kicks in? The Western establishment programming. Like, oh man, I gotta eat today. I haven't
hungry than a mug.
So because you program with that in there, or I gotta eat something. Now you gotta eat something that somebody reminded you. But when into that passion, go ahead.
You know what's so funny? When you said recently, I was in a mix like that. I was just deep into, what I do. And my queen, babe, did you eat? I didn't even think about it. And once she told me that, I got weak and okay, let me go put something in my system. But before she said that,
You
I
was
was
on.
in the zone.
And the reason is because a part of your melanin system, see, we got melanin based hormones that runs the body. A part of your melanin system is producing opioids. So when you have that good feeling in your body and you passionate about something, that love, when you in love, love produces endorphins and opioids in the brain.
Mm.
Those opioids, actually, you have those, you got receptors for that on all of your melanocytes. So love actually produces more pigment. Love
Yo,
excites melanocytes.
that's
So
that's
what?
crazy. Not
But,
that's
yeah,
Dr. Sebi used to always do that. He used to walk through the huts, people with stage 4 cancer, people who just looked like they had one foot in the grave already. He would go in there and talk to them, have them dying laughing, and tell them, you know what, my sister, I love you. Kiss
love,
them on their forehead.
love, yeah. Because
I
here's the thing, and it's a gift and a curse. See, the people that spend more time researching our body than we do, they got an advantage on us. They know how our body work, and everything is duality. So the same way we have these opioid receptors on melanocytes, they can use those to get you hooked on sugar, coke, crack, lean, pills, because the darker we are, the more of those receptors we have. So we need it, whether we produce it internally or we're going to get it externally. And so, because the diet and the culture is set up to stop the internal production, we seek it externally. So immediately, as soon as we get depressed or we get this down or whatever, we want some sweets, right? Because we want that opioid production. We want to excite that reward pathway in the brain, but we don't realize that the reward pathway in the brain is a melanin based pathway. Everything that's going on in your body is based on melanin. And
So what would
diabetes,
you say about the light skinned people?
well, they got melanin too. Even white folks got melanin. If they didn't, they'd be dead. You could
Okay.
you be brain dead. Like you, just because you don't got external, you still got the, every one of your brain cells is melanated.
Do
If
you
they
have
didn't have
a
melanin,
graph?
they wouldn't work.
Do you have a graph of a light skinned person and a dark skinned person so you could compare how much melanin?
Well, no, it's not. It's not even the same type. So
Okay.
you got two different types of melanin, which is, oh, you got two different types of melanin,
Okay.
which is black, brown. Then you have pheomelanin. Pheomelanin is where you get your light skins, your red skins, and all of that kind of stuff. And then you have melanin deficient,
Okay.
which is where you get your pale skin or Europeans. So so yeah, it's different types. But you melanin is where you, like me and you, we you melanin. So yeah,
We Gucci.
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
your hat.
Yeah, we all the way with it. Yeah, we all the way with it. But so everybody has this available to them in some extent. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But there are things that we may take for granted that's facilitated by melanin that we may not pay attention to. Because until I really started studying these things, I didn't know, like for instance, I took for granted, like most people do, that, like for instance, if you close your eyes right now, Mr. G, close your eyes right now. Imagine a nice, fresh red apple. Can you see that in your mind?
Yep.
Okay, that's it. That's test is over. Do you know that everybody does not have the ability to do that?
No, I didn't know that.
That's a thing. It's called aphantasia. A lot of people don't have the ability to see anything in their mind. They can't imagine. They can't visualize. And it's not a
Wow.
matter of them not knowing how to do it.
And these are normal people, or these are people with
These are normal people. These are normal people. They're genetically incapable of doing that. Have you ever heard a song and the song was so ill that you got chills or goosebumps?
Yeah.
Everybody cannot do that. Everybody is not physically capable of resonating with sound so much so that they get chills and goosebumps. That's a thing that's unique to people. Like everybody can't do these things. I thought these was regular basic, like anybody can,
Facts.
like
Yeah. That's a
anybody
normal
can.
thing. Mm-hmm.
There's some people that don't dream. Now you got a lot of people that dream and don't remember their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some people that are incapable of actually having a visual dream.
Wow.
Because their mind cannot produce pictures. Then you have some people that can dream, but they can't dream in color. They can only dream in grayish, blackish, black and white type of stuff. You got some people that can't interact, and it's levels to all of our mental activities, and we take them for granted. But
you know how many dreams I had that I had a bag of money somewhere? I'm looking for that shit all day.
wait, but check this out. That's why blackness is the number one thing that's researched in science. But the Western establishment so racist, it fires me up because when they talk about like quantum biology, right? That's melanin study, but they never going to elevate us to that level to let them know that quantum biology is the study of us. The new quantum computers study of us, because what's the polymer that they want to use to advance the speed of the computer? Melanin. When you think about what melanin does, if you talk about quantum anything, right? So quantum tunneling is basically what quantum biology is based on.
No, before you get into the quantum tunneling,
okay,
you mean to tell me being the complexion I am, has to do with when I had a dream that Tyra Banks was chasing me, and I woke up and I tried to go back to that damn dream?
Yeah. Because you got to remember, any brain activity is facilitated by neuromelanin.
That was long time ago, by the way.
Right,
But,
of course.
Okay. long.
No, don't get in trouble with me. Don't get in trouble with me.
All right.
But neuromelanin is what facilitates all your brain activity. You know what I'm saying? So it's everything is based on it. You know what I'm saying? Your nerves, all your nerves is neuromelanin. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's every cell of your body has melanin in it. Period. Wow. There's no set of tissues that don't have melanin in them. Every single one of them. That's why I just showed the cell up close. Melanin is all over in your cells, but they don't put it. They not. It's institutionalized racism, and they don't put grant money up out in the open for these studies. You know what I'm saying? They won't let you know that when they're talking about, like I said, quantum mechanics. When you talk about quantum tunneling, that's basically light being absorbed, right? Or different frequencies of energy being absorbed and being converted into something bioavailable. Well, the only thing that does that is pigment. So that whole conversation is a pigment conversation. When they talk about stem cell research, the richest source of stem cells is the endometrial lining from Black women, right? So stem cell research, they still researching like mitochondria. I just showed you how the mitochondria couples with melanin. Like all these different areas of science, it comes back to when they talk about Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, like the list goes on. When they talk about cancer, right? Because a lot of times they talk about Doug Wallace as the leading foremost guy on mitochondria, and they're the hottest cancer research is the mitochondria, this, that, and the other. So they don't realize that what's controlling the mitochondria's ability to produce free radicals and etc. is melanin. The more melanin you have there, the more the melanin actually turns free radicals into something usable for your body. If you don't have melanin there, when the mitochondria produces free radicals, the cell either becomes senescent or it goes through apoptosis. But it's melanin there as the mediator. Like all of this stuff, it's just crazy. Anyway, let me go back to the program here, because we gotta try to finish up before. Wait a minute.
Oh yeah, we got like 10 more minutes. I'm flying to the West Coast tomorrow. All right, you already know what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I know you're going to get it. Hold on. All right. So, and I guess the people, y'all gonna have to read up on this, because the article, the article, we got a lot more, and I'm gonna have to skip a bunch. down to
We're
compress.
gonna have to do a part two. We're gonna have to do a
Yeah,
part
yeah,
two.
we'll do a part two.
So you can
So,
go through.
but I want to leave people with this new understanding of diabetes, if nothing else,
Oh
right?
yeah, please.
Um, okay, melanin concentrating hormone, right? So when we hear about diabetes, we under the impression that insulin um is the controller of our metabolism. Insulin job is to let sugar into the cells and all that. That's all wrong. Insulin's job is not to let glucose into the cell. That's a secondary or tertiary job that insulin does. Insulin is a steroid hormone. Insulin's job is to make you fatter. That's what insulin does. Insulin is something that makes you gain weight. So anybody on diabetes that start taking insulin, they know immediately first month, first 2 months, they start gaining weight. You're gaining weight from the insulin. Now, the problem, and this is why insulin has never cured anybody of diabetes, is because we know the number one risk factor for diabetes is obesity. So how are you going to take something to heal you from something that makes you obese, but that's a risk factor for the problem? Like it just doesn't even make sense, right? But again, institutionalized racism. Melanin concentrating hormone. A lot of people may not have even heard of melanin concentrating hormone before. But melanin concentrating hormone is the hormone your brain produces to produce more melanin, right? And this is the actual hormone that regulates insulin. It regulates glucose. We got people that's online talking about brown fat and brown adipose tissue and um, all those kind of things. Brown fat is regulated by melanin concentrating hormone. The out of body experience niggas and all that. REM sleep is regulated by melanin concentrating hormone. Melatonin is regulated by melanin concentrating hormone. This is the hormone that regulates how fast your body metabolizes glucose and so yeah, it's a whole new experience when you understand that again, diabetes is about attacking the pigment in the body. This is why you have an A1C test. They measure how much damage the sugar has done to your pigment by looking at the red blood cells, which is hemoglobin, which is a pigment. And it is one of your main pigments in your body because not only is heme the pigment for your blood, it's also the pigment inside the mitochondria for the electron transport chain. It's also the pigment inside of the muscle cells. Heme is there. Inside all of your muscle cells, you have hemoglobin. It's under a different name. It's called myoglobin, right? So, but myoglobin is made from heme pigments. And this is what the gunk that Sebi was saying, mucus, but the scientific term, intramyocellular lipids, it coats and stops the ability, stops the ability for the insulin to get in there. And then you got a lot of goofballs. They notice that when you get pre-diabetic or diabetic, anytime you eat anything that's sugary or anything that boosts your insulin level, it's going to make you start peeing a lot. So people goes to the doctor and tries to find something to help them stop peeing a lot. They complain about it all the time. Doc, I keep peeing. Soon as you get something to stop the pee, your diabetes is only going to get worse. Pee actually is trying to help you from getting diabetes and help you from getting cancer because diabetes is one of the leading causes of cancer. And the reason is, and here's a secret, right? Here's another secret, Drew. Like this why niggas be saying I'm the GOAT with this, Mr. G. I live this shit. What connects diabetes to cancer is that cancer cells have 10 to 15 times the amount of insulin receptors as a normal cell. And that's how the cancer cell is able to starve out all the other cells because it collects the insulin receptors. Now, Insulin receptors are not permanent in your body. They're not permanent fixtures. A lot of people just think that all your cells got insulin receptors on there. No, your cell produces the insulin receptor when you eat something and produces insulin. So insulin and insulin receptors pops up at the same time. And they're only supposed to last in your body 3 to 5 hours and then disappear. But because we eat carbohydrates so frequently, the insulin receptors never get a chance to clear off the cells, and you start to pile up insulin receptors. And that starts the process to formulating cancer cells. So, what your body does when you get a lot of insulin receptors and a lot of insulin building up, your body tries to pee them all out. Get rid of the insulin, the glucose, and the insulin receptors, all that's going in the toilet. And goofballs try to stop peeing and hold it in. So now you holding in the glucose, you holding in the insulin and holding in the receptors. And so you start to go down that process, and so it gets crazier and crazier and crazier. But definitely they can come to they could click the link below the video, read the whole article. Feel free to hit
They
me up.
got your phone number right there.
Everything. They could hit me up. We could talk about it. We could argue about it if they want.
All right.
But your whole body, you know what I'm saying? Your whole body is made out of your whole body is electromagnetic. And that's the thing that I want to impress upon people, is that we have all been goofballs for a long time. And the reason why I say that is because we all know that our body is full of different pigments, right? And we know that pigments absorb light, but we never ask, what does the pigment do with the light after it absorbs it? Energy can't be created or destroyed. So when the pigment absorbs the light, what happens next to it? What does the pigment do with the light? Right? We know that we take in all this iron for our blood. Now we got 25 billion. What is it? 25 billion, 25 trillion. We got all of these blood cells. We're gonna round it down to 25 billion. It might be 25 trillion, but it's one of them numbers, a crazy number of blood cells that we have in our body, right? So each one of our red blood cells holds 4 iron atoms. We know iron is magnetic. So you have anywhere from 100 billion to 100 trillion magnets circulating through your body like this. What is happening with all that magnetism? We know that we have electron transport chains in all of our mitochondria producing electricity. What is going on with that electricity? Why is that not the primary conversation in terms of biochemistry? The light, the magnetism, and the electricity. The reason being is if we make that the primary conversation in these textbooks, then immediately Black people go right up to the top of the food chain in terms of, where our value should be. And let me just show one last thing. Click that share one more time. This is quick. Let me show you this real quick. Right? This is the price right here of melanin. Melanin actually has a price. They sell it. Right? So for right now, this is current 2022 prices. Melanin is going at just under $500 a gram, right? But I want y'all to see how much more valuable melanin concentrating hormone is, because even a fish extract, they want a little bit more than $500, but they selling it in the micrograms. So at bare minimum, it's double or triple or 4 times the price that melanin is going for.
Damn.
So these are real things. There's a real value to this. And the reason why they're selling it is because it's the number one thing researched in science. They want to start to create, like they already got polydopamine and a couple of other synthetic melanins that they're using in different computers and stuff now. They're using melanocytes now to, extract them and cure MS and some other stuff. So, even for that other question that came up, you know, because primarily I talk about type 2 diabetes, but even type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is also a melanin issue because it's dopamine that controls beta cells producing insulin, right? And we know dopamine is produced by nerve cells and neurons from neuromelanin, right? We also know that vitamin D, right? Vitamin D, and I'll end with this.
All right, I want to say it's 11
Yeah,
o'clock. Ink.
I got you. I'll end with this.
All right.
Vitamin D is produced from melanin. Every textbook that you ever seen, every diagram that you ever seen that does not include melanin is wrong. Every diagram, it's a fact. See, this is what I'm saying. That's why I'm looking for people to fund me so I could do this research. But all the shit that we've been taught is bullshit. Every diagram you see, it shows like the sun, and then it shows the skin, and then it shows like vitamin D produced.
Mm-hmm.
But if we know common sense, we know our skin cells, right? Keratinocytes. They're
2
adults.
minutes, Ink. 2 minutes. All
I
right.
got adult stem cells called keratinocytes makes up our skin. Keratinocytes cannot absorb ultraviolet radiation. That's what UVB is. It's ultraviolet light. Keratinocytes will become tumorous and cancerous and die, period. The cells will become tumorous, is over. So what is it that's absorbing that ultraviolet radiation in your skin to produce vitamin D? Melanin. It's the melanocytes in the skin that produces the vitamin D, period. Melanin is able to absorb that UVB, but again, they're not going to put that in textbooks because of our value. So, and it's not their problem. It's our job to do that. It's our job to invest in Dr. EnQi so we could do our research and put the clinics together and put the books together. That's what I'm saying. I got to get that bag from Drake or Yeezy or one of these niggas so I can, you know what I mean, put this thing together, man. We got to make this thing do what it do.
All right, well, there y'all have it, Dr. Ink. Yo, I appreciate your time, your knowledge, and hopefully my people who's listening share this video. Anybody with any issues that we was talking about, and thank you for being the second person on my podcast. And brother, I appreciate everything you did for me, publicly and privately. You already know, man.
Come on, same here.
All right, give the kids a hug.
Yes.
My love. Tell Chase I still got that rematch for him.
Hey, they got to put some respect on LeBron's name, man. 35, 10, and 10, baby.
Facts.
Yeah, man, we got to do that. All right, thank you.
All right, my brother. Be safe.
Yes, sir.
All right. There y'all have it, man. My brother Ink is full of information. I really hope you guys go and follow him, support him, and let's just and invest in our own. Invest in our own. Dr. Sebi used to always say that we always quick to believe in somebody who don't look like us. That brother looked like us. Well, he looked like me at least. I don't know how y'all complexion. Let's just do what we do, man. Peace and love. This has been the second episode of my podcast, and I like to thank everybody who came out. And please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Peace and love.